So we are back to do, I guess, more virtual limits for now into some other quests. But we were talking about how before Green ID kind of suffering right now. It's a bit unfortunate. Maybe one day they'll get a good combo of things. Also, I love my EDK is literally 0. I'm gonna be in for an interesting time in this quest chat. just a little interesting. But we'll give people a moment or two if they want to join in. Yeah, but Dango, definitely a big profiteer of that run. He got Heavenly Alarms, and on top of that, got a Swordsman lore, which is pretty nice. I'm within 500 kills of actually getting this Lame to Argent unlocked, so it could realistically happen before the event. Although I don't have many more streams planned. So we'll give chat another minute if they would like to join, otherwise we'll get started. Yeah, unfortunately, Persona 5 strikers from earlier, too many vocals. I'm looking to see if there's any spin-off series that I missed. We did Legends of Troy, we did One Piece, did Hyrule Warriors, I did Arslan, although the songs were very low. Don't think I did Warriors All-Stars. I think there's just one last Dynasty Warrior one we could do. Hopefully the soundtrack is very long. Oh, it's got 93 songs. Okay. We'll pause Sea of Stars for now. And I guess we'll listen to Warrior All-Stars. As we learned earlier, we don't need to wait for the full group to start this quest, which is interesting. Yeah, if Chris ends up coming by, he was talking about how much he wanted a Swordsman lore. We'll do a virtual limits too on Pink ID if he shows up. If not, we'll probably do some of the old classics. It's technically Rare Enemy Week. And I guess the other thing we should probably talk about is it worth attempting with our group full Endless Episode 1 clears, but actually going for falls? So they've been doing a lot of buffs to that quest repeatedly over the past couple of updates. So as a reminder for people that weren't looking at that in particular, they now allow Endless Episode 1 to drop, or not to drop, to have rare enemies, which is something that it couldn't previously do. On top of that, they normalized how quickly you rack up penalties for a lot of the things that drain your HP. Nice, Guardiana. Oh, only 0 hits, unfortunate. And then on top of that, they relaxed the penalty needed to clear the quest. So for example, it used to be you could only get 3 mistakes per person, and then if you get anything else, nice dropping at the Guardiana to hold the switch down, I like that. And then if you get anything else beyond that, it would stop you from reaching falls. But they actually relaxed it to 5 mistakes per player. That's overall, honestly, really forgiving. Because the most of the times that you're going to fail the quest with a high-level party is the take no damage one. So if they stop you from taking it more than once per second, that also stops getting cheesed out a lot by, like, multi-hits. Which would happen very often. If you got, like, double punched by guild chicks, you would just kind of auto-lose the challenge on the spot. Especially if, like, Sinnoh stacked up, they would just go, like, 1, 2, 3, and you just lose the challenge on the spot. But as I said before, they put more of a delay in there, and you're allowed to have up to 5 mistakes. So honestly, if people aren't using... I would say it's more of a challenge for rangers, because they have to make sure not to be berserking or charging, if it's, like, very specific ones. But if you have both sets of weapons and you pay very close attention, I think it would be doable to start going for Viridian clears. Because if you remember we talked about last time, that quest has a really, really high number of Del Sabers. Like, I think upwards of 80 if you get every single Ruins room. That's a lot of Swordsman lore attempts into general value. I don't know why I anteed there. My button slipped. Wow, third photon drop. So somebody has profited from the stream today. Good job. Poor frozen Lily. Equivalency. Get wrecked, idiot. Yeah, these are the extended versions of the songs, so they're going to be about 10 minutes. Which I think is my general tolerance for songs. If they go on for longer than that, I find myself skipping anyway. It's kind of the perfect length for me, to just fill out the soundtrack time a bit. Anyway, I think overall from the standpoint of fears, it is kind of nice that we get a mixture of Heaven Striker and stuff there. I will say with the changes to Yellow ID, I haven't been enjoying Endless Episode 1 for general drops over the other IDs. And weirdly, as I said before, if you're not going for Red Ring specifically for Endless Episode 1, I do feel like Pink ID is one of the strongest IDs there, because it gets nearly every Uber that's in that ID, and it gets a lot of skins. So, like, is it going to power up your character? No, but is it still worth a lot? Yes. So I know all the stuff down here are just boxes, so... for now. That switch over there opens the far left, which is boxes. Again, if you want to do Jaya checks, there's nothing wrong with that. I hope that this kind of quest enters rotation on the RBR. And I do feel like they've been saving up an RBR change for Anniversary. I feel like they want to directly nerf RBR for events, but I feel like they're also going to change the rotation from our Anniversary onwards. I'm hearing this music and this doesn't feel very Dynasty Warriors to me, to be honest with you. And we'll keep listening to it, but it's not quite what I was expecting. Already audit chances, not too bad. Look at me go, chat. Look at me swinging my, there we go. I killed with melee, lame to Argent. That's how you know I don't care. Beautiful disrespect. Almost hit him with the auto target. Almost. So we'll go around the world and check some boxes. Oh, I didn't go around the world this time. There we go, I got an extra kill. Did a chat. Yeah, this character is so close to getting a Lame to Argent unlocked. I'm not going to get it in this quest, because I'm not going to be the one that gets the kill most of the time. But honestly, just like 1 or 2 more CCCs and I have it, even in multiplayer. I'm not gonna lie, if we see another Hildator, I'm gonna have some comments. I'm gonna have some strong comments about Rare Enemy Week. Okay, so no, the boxes did get popped up there already. Our materials. More enemies. They're trying. This doesn't matter. This quest is pretty hunter friendly. I'm gonna put hunter in the tags for this quest going forward. I could see myself playing solo hunter here with Diska or Jayas. I don't feel like there's ever like, oh, I gotta look out for the murder lily full screen kind of moments. Like, these quests would be fine with traps or Jayas, red swords. The angriest of fists has been dropped. Yep. Take that, Rappy. Oh, that was an awkward cut. Poor enemies. Oh. I was more used to my no attack speed boost timing. Could have gotten a kill there. How unfortunate. Operation Buff the Rawcast. There we go. Guess this is just to unlock a way back later. Is that why that other warp was there? It's because there were items in this room that we couldn't get before? Maybe that's why that warp was there. Because I was asking, like, why did it bring me back that far earlier? I don't think I realized there were chests in this room. I guess that makes a little more sense in hindsight. No. Disregard. No, it still put me back in this room. Never mind. I don't know why the other warp takes me there. Joke's on you. I can actually kill these enemies. More photon drops. Not bad. My angry fist from earlier. Don't mind us, just getting some Heaven Striker chances in episode 1. You know, as you do. Ouch. probably got like nothing added to the kill count, but I figured I'd check it. I killed them all. This is so bad. No, I got knocked down. This is kind of rough without Adept unlock. Damn, if I was dual wielding Adepts, I'd be so happy right now. Damn, they got Yun Chang'd out of this universe with the Rappies. Nice level up. I say this might be one of the few times this character has left episode 4. Oh, die. It's like, here we go. I couldn't quite combo kill without V101. So sad. Even worse speed. Had to do normal to not get interrupted there. Definitely need to debuff these guys. Some buffs. Oh, right over. Oh, we have one more wave. Not bad. Awesome item. Charge ray gun. Oh, only 10% hit. Ooh. Disappointing, chat. Could have been amazing. So sad. Do one more on blue ID, then I might switch back to purple. And we'll switch some quests after that. Okay, so assuming it's just us again, so I'll just continue forward. But if anybody wants to hop in, by all means. There we go, and I helped. Ooh, I got a kill there with melee. We did it. Yeah, I might have the group humor me for a quick CCC after this, just to get this character's kill count up. It's so close, chat. You've no idea. I've been dying to swap out weapons. Have to be within like 350 or so, right? Oh no. Sorry, I thought it was at 9678, not 9478. Unfortunate. Never mind, I still have 500 more to go. It's gonna take some time. At least I got rewarded with the photon drop. I'll take that. Yeah, I do think it's worth maybe doing Endless at some point, though I would rather do Endless for people. Because the no damage challenge is way easier when you have, like, double cast Force than whatever. Like another Ranger, or even just another cast of some sort. But I do genuinely think it might be worth trying to do... I'd have to re-examine if Red ID is any fun there, but I know Viridian offhand gives you the LNK combat minigun as a consolation prize if you don't get to falls. And it has decent forest enemies. It's not like technically Hilda can drop things there, but we're not going to very often hunt Hilda in Endless. I do think it is a shame, because even with like the rare enemy up, there just really aren't that many rare enemies in the quest. Like, weirdly, I want to double check. I almost want to say there's more slimes than Hilditors in that quest. Which, don't get me wrong, does buff, like, Red ID TTF runs in that quest. But it's not the normal enemies you would think. Like, you're not going for Mill Lily or stuff like that in there. Yeah, you could very, very quickly lose the challenge, quote-unquote, by just somebody using charge Vulcans the whole time. That's one of those ones where the group does need to pay attention if we're gonna do it. That really sucks. Versus, like, the no damage with taking up to 5 hits, I think it's actually okay. As long as, like, one player knows where the Chaos Bringers are and they're the cast, it can really shut down a lot of the bad parts of Endless Episode 1. Endless Episode 2... I would be willing to do a 3-man Endless Episode 1. Endless Episode 2... Trying to go for a no-hit in Tower. I'm not sure how you would do that, to be honest with you. How do you avoid the Epsilon, Rafoi? Because there are Epsilons in that quest. My knowledge. Kind of drawing a blank on that one. I guess you could just get lucky and then it doesn't care about the no damage. I do find episode 2 weirdly has easier challenges where it's like, don't use Hell. And you're like, oh, that's fine. I don't use Hell most of the time anyway. And I feel like because it introduces that one in particular, it leaves you open to using charged weapons more. Which is kind of funny, because I'm like, I'd rather do that on like 90% of the cast anyway. I think I actually took the kill there with the Lame to Argent, shockingly. That is a seriously dead enemy. I guess I'll do a box check through the wall. We were determining before I could do this. Yeah, pop those boxes without going in that room. We'll catch up to the group eventually. It's 4 enemies. Yeah, I think we were talking about it. It was between like White ID and Pink ID Endless episode 2 was good. Which is kind of interesting, because if they make it easier to get to Olga Flow, then I think Pink ID actually gets an advantage over White ID. By a significant margin, but just being able to get Parasitic Gene Flow on the run. Not an ID we normally do for boss runs there, but it's worth noting. I think otherwise we were just doing White ID for just generically good value across episode 2. Yeah, I think it would be worth, if we don't end up doing it today, I think we should aim for a serious session of like endless episode 1 clears. Now that the restrictions are a bit more forgiving, especially the not allowing it to trigger more than once a second is good. As I said before, sometimes you would just get layered Sinnoh hits and you just lose on the spot, or like layered dump chicks or something stupid, and you just lose the challenge instantly. So I'll pop the boxes from up here. I didn't see anything, so I'm not gonna go back. The convenience of a force being able to resond up there can't be understated. There's sadly no Heaven Striker so far, but I'm willing to do this run one more time before we move on. Oh, if I didn't drop the combo, I've gotten the kill there with Lame to Argent with my whack attack speed. So sad. We tried. That was an amazing freeze. Get wrecked, Lily. He really knocked me down as I went for the killing blow. That was so depressing. Still got some kills there at least, though. Uh-oh, an invincible Hugh cast with the Unchang. It's over. Poor Rat Face. Yeah, as I said before, I don't think the rare enemies add like a ton of value back into Endless. I mean, I guess in a way it buffs Pink ID Endless pretty significantly, because they care about rare enemy. White ID does too, to an extent. I would say it's probably more impactful for Endless Episode 2 than Episode 1, just because, as I said before, there's a very low Hill Detour count. Like, I want to say there's less than 10 in the entire quest. So having 10 more chances at rare enemy is not really as important as getting like 20 Lily chances and 20 Rappy chances. You know what I mean? Like, that's... especially episode 2 Rappies. We'll see where it goes there. Wow, I got the kill. I am the master. We might revisit that, see if we gotta update the tags or the recommendations for IDs. But I think overall, I'll probably put these quests into the recommended category. And as I said before, if they're going to update the RBR, they will probably add this quest, if I had to guess, into the rotation. And whenever they do their update, they're just more likely than not going to add it. I don't think they'll ever add anything like the Chrono Trials, or at least I really hope they don't. I feel like that would be a big mistake. I'm not an advocate for every quest should be on the RBR. In fact, I think it should be a very specific set of quests that are like a little just outside of becoming like viable. Like, this quest is almost good enough, I would say, to do over other quests. Just that right now it's just nice to do because it's a new quest. But I swear, chat, if they nerf the RBR bonuses, you're gonna see an ugly post. I don't know what forum it will be on, but there will be a very ugly post by me if that happens. They better not do anything to nerf RBR. They could change the quests, they could change how some of the bonuses work, but if they straight up nerf it, over. Ouch. And I say that because a lot of people are doing... So what they're going to do with the anniversary, listen, if there is an event I have no faith in of being good, it's going to be this year's anniversary. I'm sorry, chat. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer at this point. It's been like 5 continuous years of straight nerfs, and last year's was one of the worst by far. It wasn't just like a small nerf like it was in the prior years, where like incrementally they keep removing features or they incrementally nerf things. I literally have no hope or faith that this will be good. Zero faith. Lemaine 2K says episode they dropped new quests, anniversary events. Anniversary events have been amazing, Lemaine. I don't know what year you started playing, but back in like the 1st to like 5th year anniversaries, they were like the best event, period, uncontested. The last 3 in particular have been really suspect. Like, I really hope they decouple it from RBR, and they're not like, you can only play RBR quests. Which I feel like is the opposite intent of RBR. Like, I feel like they got everything they could have gotten wrong last year. Like, the whole point of RBR is that it gives you an option to do something that is potentially better than normal. But, like, to force players to play it and then have, like, the goal, the cojones to complain that it was, like, unfair to give RBR, I'm like, well, you did that. Like, that was you. It's not in the normal list. You went out of your way to mess up. I'm gonna call you out on that. That's your fault for putting it in RBR if you didn't want it in RBR. I'm just saying, chat, like, that is a self-inflicted problem. It's craziness. The first anniversary event was the ID badge drops. Oh, okay. That's quite a while back. ID badge drops. I don't know if I played that one. But yeah, anniversary events have always been extremely overpowered. And if you don't believe me, look at those item drops for like 3rd year anniversary. Remember when we used to get stuff with photon spheres? Just casual photon sphering? That was quite something. Not to mention the quests are very strong, which I'm expecting them to nerf the quest this year. That's why I've not done a video on the quest updates, because I don't feel like wasting my time if I don't think the anniversary quests are not going to be there. Like, why go through the time explaining how the anniversary quests work when there is a... I'm going to say not even non-zero. I'm going to say it's like a 50-50 whether they do it this year. They've been talking about for a long time how they're not happy with the quests. Which, again, I feel like is more indicative of just terrible Episode 2 quests than anything else. Like, if they're worried that the quests are, like, the quote-unquote best in slot for certain quests, then, like... I don't know. Fix Episode 2? I don't think Anniversary Episode 1 quests are, like, quote-unquote super OP. Like, do I think the anniversary quests with Forest is all that good compared to Terrell's? No. But I think some of it has to do with, like, if they decide to give free badges and stuff like that on Quest Clear. I think they need to tweak the drop rewards on the quest a little bit. I don't know if the quests themselves need to be nerfed. And again, it's like, if Spaceship Episode 2 is terrible in like every single quest that people have released outside of the Renumberal Surge series, is that really the fault of MAE for giving decent enemy counts? Or is it more the fact that just a lot of vanilla Episode 2 quests are trash? Just think of it that way. Like, what problem are we really solving here? Like, just like, I don't know. Yes, Ender has gone on record and says he thinks the MA quests are OP. Which, like, some of them are stronger versions of good quests. So, like, episode 4, I could see some argument for, because it's literally like the boss run quest, but with more enemies, like Gertabulu. And again, it's like, if they just want to have a quest with more Gertabulu, it's fine. But, like, just be aware that it's hard to get good enemy counts in a majority of the quests due to how the vanilla quests are. So unless somebody does a lot of custom quests, it's not really going to change. It's not really going to change in that something feels quote-unquote overpowered. It's kind of like when you play Christmas Fiasco on, like, Viridian or Pink ID, and they are some of the best quests, period. So it's not like it's not a precedent that event quests are good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why we're so focused on like, oh no, anniversary quests are strong, and I'm like, so are a lot of the other event quests. It doesn't mean they should be nerfed. It just means the vanilla quests are terrible. It's like, are people really gonna be lining up to do East Tower or West Tower? Like, that kind of garbage is in RBR. Like, let's call it out for what it is, chat. They are bad quests for hunts. They are bad. Like, just of course every quest is gonna seem great in comparison. And the thing is, and it's weird to me, because it's like, the thing is if they just moved it away from RBR, it's like we would have done quests other than the anniversary quests. I don't understand intentionally nerfing an event that is active 1/12 a year in a game where everyone just wants drops. I mean, like, I think anniversary quests is just kind of a way for new players to kind of come up and basically have a starting chance of doing something in Ultimate. And I feel like they've lost their sight of that. And all they have been doing continuously is nerfing the quests. Or, not the quests. They've been nerfing the shop rewards over and over and over again. Just like, this is no longer here, or we're gonna decrease this, or we're gonna stop letting you do silver badges with this, or, you know, suddenly our gold badge options are only this, etc., etc. I don't know. Like, we should celebrate it as a time that new players can maybe get something decent. Because I feel like, to some extent, it's like, the reason why people enjoy stuff like the Christmas event is that they could just do... They have the choice of doing high-density quests, right? Or they do, like, the specific event quests in order to get an event item. So I feel like if they try to move away from that formula, they are going to make a very huge mistake, and people will get very upset. If you get your drops, what incentive do you have to play the game anymore? I mean, it's PSO. I don't know what to tell you, Lemaine. If that is your genuine argument as to why people shouldn't get drops, I'm gonna call you out for it. I think that is the exact wrong take. If there is a wrong take that you could do, I will say that is the hottest wrong take we have seen on stream. I'm willing to say, if you're being honestly serious with that. Because, like, nothing is more frustrating to players that are just wanting to get started with, like, things like Heaven Striker or, like, Spread Needle, and it just won't drop for them. There is nothing more frustrating than coming in as a new player and seeing everybody with all these weapons and not being able to play these hard quests because they don't feel geared enough. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. If you're saying that's somebody else's line of logic, I'm assuming somebody does, but I just want to go on record. I could not disagree with that more. And I feel like the people that push that are out of their minds. Just, like, honestly. Because it's like, you want to be able to get to the point where you feel like you can party with people. And if everybody is, like, so far ahead, it's one of those things where, like, Anniversary Quest is, like, one of the few kind of counters, the levers, where you could get into at least early Ultimate, right? Like, you could get basic weapons that will carry you to Ultimate, whether it's, like, the whatever the name of the Soul Scythe is. I think it's called Soul Scythe. Like, you could just get a lot of generically strong weapons for bronze and silvers, or you could fix up your character with silver badges, materials, and like, you're not going to be able to do that in bulk in any other kind of event other than anniversary event. Like, would I be upset if they got rid of platinum badges? Honestly, probably not. I'm kind of okay if they remove that. I don't think for me, I've never gotten one, so I don't think I care, honestly. So if they really truly wanted to remove it, that would probably be the only thing I would care about. If they truly just didn't want people to get Ubers during the quest, and they want to reserve that for Christmas, that's fine. But I think they should go back and just kind of realize that these are the chances for new players to get their first Flame to Argent. These are the chances for players to get their first Heaven Striker. Because you're giving access to, like, somewhat annoying to hunt items. Like, this is your first chance to get potentially a strong limiter in order to then do these other quests. So, I don't know. I think they need to just kind of revisit that a little bit. Yeah, and exactly. Like, the high... And the thing is funny because you're talking about the astronomical drop rate with hit percentage. Like, I can already think, what was it, 2 events ago? Maybe 3 events at this point, where they improved the odds of getting hit chance on weapons. So again, it kind of goes into the mixture of this is a way for players to potentially catch up. It's not, like, free. You still have to do the hunts. It was 3 years ago. Thank you. Where I don't know. Hopefully we'll see them do stuff, but I swear, chat. Like, again, if they remove platinum badges, whatever. If they want to slightly nerf some of the rewards for clearing, like, Forest in particular, I don't even think I'd throw a fuss. I go, okay, sure, if you want to do that, I don't care. But if they start straight up removing certain quests, I don't know. Like, are they going to complain that the MAE quests are overpowered and that it's like, did you see the spread of what people played? Oh, Heaven Striker with hit. Wait a minute. Oh. well, chat, just get good. Chat, just get good. Just get hit percentage Heaven Striker. It's fine. Even at dark percentage. Look at that. Disgusting. See that? Rewarded. So I think that was my first Heaven Striker in Ominous Spawn. And it was hit percentage. Kind of nice. I don't read every set of patch notes, so I'm way behind. Oh yeah, there's some interesting updates. Exactly, it's a skill issue. Just it's easy. Kill enemy, get drop. Oh yeah. Maximum attack S. Thank you, Lomain. We were talking about that the other day, and I was like, damn, what was the name of that quest? Because we were talking about how, like, I literally learned the quest, and within 2 weeks of me learning that quest, they removed it from the game. So I have, like, maybe 2 videos total of me playing that quest. I thought was funny. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm all for them kind of putting harder to find enemies in more convenient locations. I hope that that's what they do with Anniversary. Like, if they're gonna change it, I'm okay if they replace it with something that it's like, you're not gonna get a lot of easy access to, we'll say, like, Episode 2 Sorcerers and Barans in the same quest, right? Most of the time you have to go between multiple areas. It's kind of rare that you have a quest that gives you easy access to Sorcerers in Episode 2. It's kind of hard to get Gertabulu in Episode 4. Like, if they want to change the quests and they keep that kind of mentality with it, I don't know if it's enough to make me say something very, very unhappy in the forums. But if they just straight up go, like, yeah, we're gonna remove your ability to fight Goron detonators next MAE. I don't know what I'm gonna do, other than probably not stream and protest. I was a first room spammer for experience. That's fair. Yeah, oh my gosh, the milestones being gone. I'm like, listen, just put it back to kill count. Like, why did we think that RBR was a good idea for that? Like, I genuinely don't understand. So they basically took, like, all the worst aspects of HBR and put it in, like, one event. And then they're like, surprise Pikachu face, people didn't like it. And I'm like, really? Like, who did you run this by that thought this was a good idea? Like, isn't the whole reason you got rid of HBR is because you didn't want people to grind the quest? And then you introduce a quest that is about grinding the quests, but then it's not even about, like, solo achievement or party achievement. It's a server-wide thing. So when people obviously don't want to do the absolutely horrendous seabed quests, like, in terms of difficulty, and they are coming into choices of whether to do forest or not with super buffs, I mean, like, I don't think it takes, like, a, you know, I don't think it takes, like, a lot of foresight to realize that that's not a good idea. And again, I was trying not to be negative during the event itself, but I think chat can maybe pick up on some of the things I talked about, where I was like, okay, I kept checking the counts, and I'm like, shockingly, for the first week, it was somewhat in alignment, and I think I even stated to that effect in one of the streams, that I was shocked Forest was that low. And then by the third week, of course, I was like, yeah, we're giving up on the event formally. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought was originally going to happen. I believe that's called, like, a death spiral normally, where once basically somebody pulls out, and then other people notice that person's pulled out, it just causes a destructive loop. Oh, actually, level tier. So. So, I think there are a lot of bad quests that should honestly get removed from the server. Mind offensive. But I think they need to be replaced with something. Like, they shouldn't just straight up remove something, which I think was the mistake when they got rid of, like, MAS. Like, they should have replaced it with a more interesting Episode 4 quest. And again, does it have to be, like, best runs ever? Not necessarily. But, like, again, like, there's ways to make the quests interesting. Like, either it's, you know, you can go your high density approach, you can go, you know, it's just kind of like a higher count of somewhat rare enemies, but not necessarily like a good count overall. So, like, you can have, like, targeted quests for that kind of stuff. Well, hopefully we see a little more thought process through that if they want to change the MAE. Like, did people really think, like, Cave's MAE was, like, super overpowered, or was it just the bonuses in the event? Like, I want to hear, like, definitely very honest statements for the people that are claiming MAE was overpowered. Like, I think Episode 4 was strong. I don't know if I would say it's overpowered. Forest was only overpowered because of all the milestone bonuses, but honestly, you could do Terrells and get the same effect. Ruins was probably decent, but I don't think people would play Ruins over the other ones. Oh no, I know when they removed MAS. They said they I think their quote was something along the lines of, "We don't want new players to experience this as their first insight into the server," or something like that. they had a post on it before, and I just kind of laughed at it. Which I thought was funny, because I feel like even at the time, I didn't really see that quest as often as I saw TTF. I was like, I did see it, but it wasn't like every quest. Yeah. And, like, to be honest, I mean, like, Halloween quests exist. Are they gonna remove the Halloween quests? Like, it has me kind of in doubt what they're planning to do. I'm honestly kind of worried if they're gonna nerf MAE, what they're gonna do to the Halloween cookie quests. I'll be real with you, chat. It's not boding well if they think it's there. And I think the issue is that we don't really have a lot of insight as to what they're doing. So it's like, I don't like the general direction they've been taking things lately. Like, I think they introduced some very interesting quests like this one, don't get me wrong, but, like, their approach to events, I could not be more diametrically opposed. Like, I think these are the kinds of things where you're introducing a quest that lets you get a new way of fighting multiple enemies, and it is, like, the quest design is very unique. And, like, this is exactly what we should be going for in quests. I think the quests that have been released in the past 3 years have been almost all winners. I would say there's maybe, like, only 2 to 3 styles of quests where I would say I don't want to see them and I feel sad every time they're in the loop. But otherwise, pretty good. Yeah, hopefully they won't touch it. But again, like, they're talking about finally getting rid of MAE, which is predated the Halloween quests. To my knowledge, they are. So it's like something that's basically been a staple of the server for many years. They're talking about removing. Another Hildator? Really? Could you imagine if I got Heaven Punisher from this? I think Chad would honestly just get mad and quit. I think there would be a walk-off if I got a Heaven Punisher from that. Oh, sadly nobody got Heaven Punisher. Chad, I'd also like to point out, we have officially seen more rare enemies here than, like, 3 hours of rare enemy week on a forest. I'd just like to call that out. Just wanna do a, for your information, we've seen more Hildators here than rare enemy week already. We've barely been playing for like an hour and a half. So silly. Unfollow, unsub, yeah, pretty much. Chad would legit protest if that happened. How am I doing in terms of kill count? Is this thing like almost there? Am I within 500 now? Yes. I would eventually like to use the sword on another character. Rare enemy week feels like a joke. See, now you're speaking my language. I might protest and never do rare enemy week again. I'm gonna be honest with you. Chad has clipped the moment where I had enough of rare enemy week. It's like, honestly. Like, I mean, there are so many times we do rare enemy week, and I don't see a rare enemy for hours. And I'm not talking about doing caves resets. I'm talking, like, rapid resets in, like, episode 4, CCC, and Terrell's. So we do some very serious quests, where I'll go through, like, 200 plus rappies in the span of, like, 20 minutes. And I'm not gonna see anything, and I do it for like hours, and then I just do like rare item week, or rare drop rate week, excuse me, and then we just get like two rappies back to back and get the drop. It's so dumb. Hey, rare enemy week, it's such a lie. So we've taken to doing rare enemy week during rare drop rate week because it's funny. And honestly, it has paid off a lot. So I can't even say it's been like a pure joke. Like, we have straight up gotten Frozen Shooters Ignition Cloaks during rare drop rate week by just doing rare enemy week quests then. And I don't mean like grinding it for days. Like, we do it like once, get rewarded, and leave. Oh, man. You get way more out of rare enemy week? I haven't so far. It's to the point where I was like, this is just stupid. I'm not... I literally did it for like a couple hours. Didn't see any rare enemies. Then we do like 3 hours of stream. I see like 2 rare enemies total. It's like, whatever. I'm so done with it. Oh, on the other 3 weeks. Yeah, I feel like that is true for me as well. It shouldn't be, but it is. How much hit was Heaven Striker? It was min hit. Sadly, it was min hit. That's why I didn't trigger the banner. There we go, we'll take that. It is 30% dark, though, which is actually kind of huge for Falls. Yeah, I'll take it for Falls. I'm not going to complain. The fact that it has dark percentage at all on it is like, ooh. Yeah, 30% dark. I'm like, I'll take that. That's actually fine. Like, that's good enough that if I want to put that on Ramar or Ramarl, we're doing some deleting later. I guess I'll leave it up to chat. What do you want to do next? Do you want to do... Gotta go feed my dog real quick, be right back. Do you want to do some... Episode... Or, yeah, not episode 2. The number 2 of this quest. Do you want to do Endless? Is there anything else you're really looking for? Oops. Talked to them twice by accident. Otherwise, if we're down to just 2 players, I'm doing a quick CCC. As I said before, I'm extremely close to unlocking this weapon. I think if our track needs to go away for a couple minutes, we might do CCC. Yeah. Let's boot up a hard mode CCC, because it's funny. Every time I have to go to challenge, or every time I go to extermination, I'm like, this should have been a VR quest. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I have no idea why this is an extermination. Any quest that goes to VR should be VR. That's my PSO hot take. I don't understand why I have to go to extermination for this. I mean, there's a reason why the Phantasmal Worlds don't start in VR. Yeah, let's see if we see any rare enemies while we're here. It would be funny, I'm not gonna lie. At least we could do stuff during our downtime, because this quest is pretty easy. It's Oldemians. I'll let the hunter kill those. I'm in trouble here, I think I'm gonna get hit. Oh, I got saved. Sadly with no rolls. Fortunate. This seems fair. If we do VL2, maybe we'll do Pink ID to mix it up a little bit. But I feel like the next time we do this quest, I'll have the sword unlocked. We're pretty close to it. Depends on if I end at like 9800 or if I end at like 9750. If I end at 9750, I gotta do 2 quests, I think. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I really hope for the anniversary event they really buckle down and just think about like what benefits the quest offers. Because I mean, like, it should probably be one of their strongest events. I mean, it's an anniversary event. So, like, why would you want it to be worse than other events? By design. We're supposed to be celebrating it, not feeling bitter that, it's gonna get nerfed for, like, the 5th year in a row consecutively. So, I'm curious if they're gonna do any kind of takeaways in regards to, like... I'm okay with them bringing back the concept of getting points for quests, but it's more like to unlock an item versus to get, like, bonuses on the quest. People can decide if they want to do it or not for that. I'd be okay with that kind of style thing coming back, but... I really, really hope they just go back to general kill counts. Because already the last couple of years, they even removed the ability for, like, lower difficulties to add to the kill counts and stuff like that. Which I don't know if the RBR was supposed to be a correction to that, to allow newer players to still participate in the event and feel like they're contributing. Because I feel like that was one of the big downsides, is that when you looked at, like, the early years, it used to be, like, if you cleared an MAE event, it was worth X points on lower difficulties, but then on the, ultimate difficulty, it goes for full points. I wonder if that was some of the philosophy behind why they decided to tie RBR back into it. But again, I really hope that, you know, they learn their lesson from HBR, that people don't like the feeling that they have to grind out literally 50 plus quests in order for it to be good, and if people can't put in the time, it feels really bad to gate most of the bonuses behind that kind of stuff. I think there's also kind of the flip side to that, where people that do have the time want to feel like their time is well spent. So there's not a lot of appeal in like RBR because there's no scaling factor to it, nor does it do any kind of like secondary or tertiary reward. Like compare it to something like PSO 2, for example, where like you could clear all of your weeklies and then you get something in the box, or you get a little boost for like the rest of the week or whatever. Like they could technically go forward with those approaches. I don't necessarily think that they should, but I mean, like, that's why those quests are designed that way. So like if you want to put in things that are addictive to it, because let's be honest with you, that's why they designed those mechanics in the first place. There is a reason why the reward has to be X or Y, or else it's not usually deemed worth their time. And I think they didn't really think about, you know, again, if they went in with the general perception that MAE is overpowered, I think looking at what kinds of quests people did during MAE really shows that it's a handful of quests that are quote-unquote overtuned. And even then, it's like, do I really feel like the episode 4 quest was like the most ridiculous thing ever? Not really. I mean, it was nice to play Sky ID versus the Goron detonators, and I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, we finally have a Goron detonator quest, and it also is potentially a Gertabulu quest. Like, I think they should be viewing it more like that than they should be like, oh, this is just way too strong. Because I think the thing is, like, I'm not opposed to them having, like, different anniversary quests per se. I do feel like one of the big lack of appeals for me for playing anniversary quests is that they are literally carbon copies of existing quests that I already run a lot, but just better. But at the same time, it's like, it loses kind of that excitement factor where I'm like, oh, it's just episode 4 boss surface, or it's episode 4 boss underground. Oh, if that was a 40-hit Jaya, I would have been so happy. Sadly, it went to machine there. What a shame. So it really just depends on, you know, what they kind of mix it up with. And I think the big issue, too, is that they started adding in Omnispawn for, like, the Christmas events. And I think it's just getting too crowded. I feel like what they should have done is they should have put those Omnispawn quests in events that don't have quests. Where I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with some of the fiascos. And I think having a like, what was it, the Solstice quest as a weaker version of Fiasco for new players is fine. And I think that also was a good idea. But at the same time, it's like, how many event quests do we really need active at once? How many of these would be better if it was like, oh, imagine if Valentine's event had something that you could do, or imagine if Easter event had something that you could do. Like, there's quests that, or there's events right now that just don't do anything in terms of, like, any extra gimmicks. So it's like an excuse to have more quest variety and get people into the server, aside from the events themselves, without being like, here, have these free badges, or have these free Christmas presents, or have these Easter eggs in play. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I hope they go more with that philosophy over the next couple of years, and they take a lot of these Omnispawn quest ideas and put them into the events. So that way they can continue supporting, like, again, varied enemies that could be fought that normally wouldn't be possible, like mixing all the robots from episode 1 and episode 2, or giving access to, like, Chaos Bringers and things like Sorcerers a bit easier from episode 1. Because it's like, you still ultimately have to complete the quest. So I feel like when we hear all these things that the quest needs to be nerfed, it's like, I don't know. I guess that's where the differing of opinion comes in. Like, are we really gonna kid ourselves and tell us that a lot of the vanilla quests are fun and playable? I mean, how many vanilla quests do we even play on stream in general? And a big reason why I don't play things like classic mode is I would lose access to them. There's like, what, TTF? Sometimes begrudgingly respective tomorrow. I guess the episode 4 MAEs I would run. But aside from that, it's like really hard pressed to think of ones that I would just kind of go to. Because almost everything else is a custom quest, right? Like Penumbral Surge, all custom quests. Scarlet Realms, custom quests. CCC, custom quests. Terrell's Ego, custom quest. Even like the Lost series and most of the episodes. Like I think, for example, Lost Archvulcan is one of them. Custom quests. Endless episode 1, episode 2, custom quests. So it's like I think we need to be very serious that when we're saying like quests are overpowered, it's more like this is from the same philosophy that like the free mode is still somehow the best way to get to Ogoflow. like can we just be honest with ourselves? Like is it the quests are overpowered or vanilla was terrible? Let's be real honest, chat. Like I'm just calling it out for what it is. Like the fact that to this day you still have to do free mode in order to go to Ogoflow the best should really tell you everything about the state of episode 2 in particular. Welcome back, Retract. So if you're wondering why for a long time I did not touch episode 2, it's because of nonsense like that. Did not spell kill count correctly. Okay, how close did I get? 9781, not bad. I think next time we play I might actually get it. Assuming there's one more wave. Oh, there's no more waves. Ooh, that's like borderline. I guess it depends on who's assisting if I get it next time we play. Oh, I'm slash lobbying out of here. No way am I dealing with that. No thank you. Like, no thanks. Alright, chat. Humor me with one more CCC and then we'll go back to VLs. I would like to unlock this weapon or get very close to unlocking. Yeah, this should be fun. I thought about very hard mode, but I'm like, no, I need to get some kills. I'm so close to having a, what is it, 50 Dark, Lame to Argent? Like, chat, that's kind of a big number. I think we could agree. Like, I would like to play with this at some point, even if it's on a Ranger. So we did get a couple Giants, but sadly they didn't roll hit percentage. So, yeah, like aside from like Christmas Fiasco episode 4, I'm not a big fan of like even the event quests for the most part. Like a lot of people play Christmas Fiasco 1 and I'm like, I just don't enjoy it. I know where it is good, but I just don't like the quest design in general. And I never learned how to do it solo. This is one of those ones where it requires actually a decent amount of effort to know how to manipulate that many Barans. It's not a skill you normally need to do, and there's not normally that many Barans in any other quest. Like, how many quests can you name where you're fighting 6 Barans in a room simultaneously? Like, 1 or 2, yes, you should know how to manip those. But, like, 6... Oh, there's the Rare Lily. Of course. Shake your head, chat, of course. And it dropped a Giant, too, which is funny. Of course. Chat, why do we even bother with Rare Enemy Week? Can we talk about this? Just honest question. Why do we even bother? I've seen more rare enemies here than entire sessions of Rare Enemy Week. It's kind of sad. Like, granted, we are playing on hard mode to see more enemies, but we're also playing VL earlier and still fought 2 Hill Tours between 4 runs. It's quite something. So, yeah. I mean, we should be celebrating quests that are like the Rescue from Regols. Like, are they necessarily the best quests ever? No. But are they fun? Yes. I want to see more quests that are kind of in the same vein as like Beyond the Horizon, where it's just like a lot of enemies back to back to back, and then you go to another arena and you fight more enemies. I love those styles of quests. I just like the pure pace at which you can kill things. Like, I want to see less War of Limits walkathons from like vanilla and more like quick teleports. Like Endless for me, where we just kill like a whole bunch of enemies in a floor and then move to another floor. Perfect. That's like the exact kind of style of quest that I like. I don't think every quest should be like that, but it should be an option in each of the episodes. And I feel sad there's actually not an equivalency for episode 4 besides Beyond the Horizon, in which you can't get items, which does kind of ruin the appeal outside of XP leveling. So, bit of a shame there. I think there's definitely still room. There's still niche gaps that are missing between the episodes without even involving new mechanics like Omnispawn, that they could easily just fill in the gap. But hopefully the philosophy is, over the next couple of years, the wish list is fix episode 2 drops, fix green ID, hashtag buff green ID. It has like one playable episode, and that's episode 4. It can get some V502s in very niche situations in episode 2, but I think it's like 1 or 2 enemies total. If they had tweaked them, I think it would actually be like a really good episode 2 ID versus just niche. Well, the problem is, like, it used to have V101, but they got rid of it entirely from episode 1. So now there's, like, no point to doing mines. There's, like, barely any point to doing caves. It's pretty mediocre in Forest, and it's super, super subpar in Ruins. So it's, like, there's all these ones where it just needs, like, one item. And that one item for Green ID was V101, which made it one of the better IDs for ETF. Indeed, there are fireworks going off even in my area. Just Brianox, I don't care about those. We are getting a decent number of Jaya drops, just not with hit percentage, sadly. Vanilla K38 on claws. There we go. I mean, like, as I said before, I think there's ways they can buff claws, quote-unquote, without actually adding new rare items to them. I talked about it before. I would actually be very interested in seeing, like, a lot of the junk enemies actually drop something of interest. And by that, I mean, like, what if things like the Rico bots and things like Dubchicks or things like balls, instead of dropping a rare item, just dropped a common item, but like a common item of a specific type. So like, for example, Red ID would get, I don't know, hypothetically like Disca or something like that. Just regular Disca, I don't mean like Disca Brave Man. Or like, you'll get chances of Sky ID to get like Calibers from Claws. Yeah, like what if they just dropped a weapon category? Like, is that, I wonder if that's possible. Where I don't think anybody would argue that that is, like, overpowered, because you still have to roll everything. So it's like you're kind of feeding into what is strong, which is common weapons being more droppable, but you're not just, like, flooding the field with, like, infinite lame to Argents and Heaven Strikers. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, in a way, it kind of brings it back closer to what PSO was like before episode 4, where common weapons were good. So why don't they just become a off-chance rare item for it? So they could double down on, you could generically get any weapon from them, but if you get the rare item from them, it's going to be a guaranteed Disca of some sort. So it's kind of like a semi-weighted system. I feel like you could do that, and I feel like that would honestly fix a lot of issues, where you don't have to necessarily introduce, like, Daylight Scar, Cannon Rouge level weapons in every episode. And it gets rid of a lot of the honestly horrendous junk rares that nobody wants to begin with. Like, I don't, like, would anybody here be upset if suddenly EN4 Claws on Sky ID had Caliber? Like, guaranteed Caliber? Well, assuming they get rare drop, of course. But I mean, like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there is, like, could you imagine, like, how much better the run would be? None of these dumb, like, Bravises or whatever. I also kind of hope they redo some of the box rares. Honestly, there's a lot of items that potentially could have been in there to make it a bit more interesting. Like, pink ID box drops, blue are good, red is sometimes good, white is sometimes good, and everything else other than purple is terrible. Yeah, like, exactly. Like, it's not even, it's not like, oh, you're always gonna get a Caliber with charge or whatever. Like, that I think would be unfair. But, like, just to generically say, like, oh, this drops Calibers, or every claw drops something on different IDs. They don't all have to be useful weapon types, but it could be, like, if you want these things, this is how you would get it. And I feel like it would make a lot of the more generic enemies more exciting to kill, without necessarily breaking the game. Because again, you still have to roll hit percentage, which is rare. You still have to roll potentially useful specials. Like an 80 hit Vulcan with Soul is not quite the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Mech guns would be there, exactly. Just have like yellow ID as like the pistol ID or something. Green would be the snipers, right? So, like, it would be a buff to green ID, chat. We did it. We buffed green ID. we did it. It's playable now. Like, pink ID would probably be disappointing because it would be like a cane. But I mean, like, technically you could do it to show off for things like Rainbow Bridge or whatever it's called. Alright, did I manage to get the right kill count? Let's find out. How far off am I from the right kill? Hopefully I'm within 100. Oh, I got it. I got it. Nice. I use it now, though, is the question. Alright, we're gonna slash Lavi out of here. Alright, let me just briefly switch blocks, because that's still a thing. I'm gonna see if this forces it to load correctly. And we'll go back to ritual limits. There we go. Now I have a 50 hit Excalibur. Thank you, group. So now I can start leveling one of my other Excaliburs. I've been putting off leveling an Excalibur for so long. And let me be very clear, chat. I have a 30 hit Lame to Argent that needs to be unlocked, so kinda need to get on that. I think chat would agree. It would probably make sense for me to start leveling this soon. Anyway, we're doing, I think, what was it? Pink ID? I'll switch it to pink ID there. I can leave a photon drop on him, that's fine. This character should be able to do a little more in the other area, even though it's not quite episode 2. At least I have stuff like Rambling May to do damage and Vivian's. Although one day I'd like to actually get a good Vivian, like 40 or 50 hit. Doesn't have to be like 80, but like honestly, just kind of like mid hit. Even like 35 would probably be okay. Just not like 15 to 25. It needs to be a little more oomph just to get over her issues with landing hits. Oh, I'm in anguish. See, I gotta be careful. I'm doing some wacky world anguish stuff. Like, hold on. Like, I think I was doing Phantasmal World on a higher difficulty. Trying to hunt Vivian and Rambling May with Hip, but can't seem to drop any in CCC. We might actually do those if they do not horrendously nerf Halloween cookies. I might honestly do Pink ID Temple quite a bit during Halloween, just to try to get those out of the way. So look forward to that retract. There will be a lot of cookie runs dedicated to Temple. The boosted rare enemy chance plus rare trance. Ooh. That'll be something. Not familiar with Cookie Quests beyond episode 4. I mean, like, just think of all the super bonuses, but on Lilies. And Rappies. We technically a long time ago did one of everything. We did it kind of back to back to back. So yeah, not having to worry about... Oh no. All by himself. I'm so sorry. And my damage is okay here. So even if I was left solo, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I have an okay chance of Swordsman lore. Yeah, see that? Like, my Rambling May hits pretty well. And it's just 15 hit. So having dark percentage here versus them is actually relevant. Ooh, that damage, though. Photon drop, nice. Why, hello there, Traps. I was gonna say, if our lone player throws down a telepipe, I could join them. I can help kill. Because I could just take the warp to you. There we go. Make life a little less terrible. Is there nothing else the shifter should be a big quality of life? There we go. No sense in suffering there. It is a little rude of that quest to separate players and not let them merge immediately. I'm okay with they, like, are in the same room but separated by a wall. I will say I wish they did more of that philosophy with episode 2, which I think Penumbral Surge does extremely well. So again, like, we have to give credit where credit is due. The custom quests in episode 2 are fantastic. Like, honestly, like, the MAE quests are good, the Christmas quests there are good, Endless is good, Penumbral Surge is good. So, weirdly, even though I really am not a fan of episode 2, I do think the custom quests are some of the best, because they take basically what I'll consider crap from vanilla and actually make it doable and put their own spin on it with different mechanics. So you have to give credit where credit is due. They are very talented quest designers. So I really like the mindset for behind like the room spawns and like the weaknesses in some of the rooms. So I think those quests are really good. And as I said before, I don't think Lost Charge Vulcan is a vanilla quest. And a lot of people run that as some of their favorite tower quests. Which again, is like kind of pointing out where I'm like, it's just kind of an issue with vanilla. Just has bad quests. Like, this is brought to you by the same people that thought it was okay to make you sit on that raft for like 16 seconds whenever you kill Worm Boss. They weren't exactly thinking about expediency. Yeah, we should definitely check boxes for Pink ID. Obviously, Sky ID boxes could be decent. I mean, they're only mines level, so I don't think they'll be like huge hit calibers or whatever. But technically, I think you could get like a 65 or 70 hit caliber. I just don't think you could get a 95 with the spread offhand. I don't think the weapon pattern benefits it, unfortunately. Unless you did Anguish or something insane. Leave me alone, Mr. Robot. Yeah, my femoral damage is actually decent, so even if we don't have 3 attackers, be able to put a significant delay in their progress. Yeah, look at that. Only 332 pattern in mines, exactly. I was thinking it was like just a little shy. Yeah, thank you for confirming. Because there's a reason why people will do, like, the Ruins runs over the other runs. But at least on this quest, there should be a little more useful damage-wise. Not bad. I'll check the boxes. Team can move on, I'm just box checking. Sadly, nothing of interest there. Yeah, I think the Fomoral actually does pretty decent here in episode 2. Because, I mean, that's what we're basically fighting a majority of episode 2 enemies. Even though they're episode 1 drops for the most part. If I just want to do raw damage, not bad a single target. Like, she basically is sniper range double hits. Pretty solid. We gotta kill a sorcerer. My damage is actually decent. It's like a 50 dark towards it. Or photon drops. Oh, sadly nothing of interest on those boxes. So we'll see. I'll try not to be, like, super down about it, but I do feel like we've talked about it on the Discord a couple times. We didn't really bring up, our thoughts and feelings on Anniversary Event and the general state of where they've been taking things lately. I do think it's important to just be honest about it. Just because I do want people to be aware that it's like, yes, there's a certain point where we should talk about these. Should I talk about it every stream? Probably not. But as we get closer to Anniversary Event, yeah, it's one of those things of, like, how I view the event is there. I will say there's another topic I wanted to talk about. I'm, like, waiting until updates to find out what's being done. Yeah, and I think that's what kind of the big issue. Like, compare it to, like, almost any other gaming server. They almost always have preemptive patch notes. Right? I mean, you have the things of, like, you know, the public, you know, beta testing. You have, like, the server realms, depending on what game you're doing. So you could experiment with it before it goes live. But we just have one server, which, you know, I mean, like, to some extent it makes sense. It's not like tens of thousands of players are playing. Like, do they really want to have the infrastructure for multiple things? Probably not. But it's also kind of giving off the feel, whether or not it's true, but it gives the feel that a lot of it is being dictated by, like, 5 or 6 people, and those people are guiding all the changes, regardless of, you know, what the server feels. Because it's not like we're asked things in polls, or they're like, you know, we're looking to improve X, Y, and Z. We feel it didn't hit the mark for this. What would you recommend as improvements? Right, there's not really like a open forum topic either on a lot of these things. And in fact, a lot of things that do come up are like, you know, we have, I think the person's name is Abe, you know, asking about the state of RBR, and it's like literally radio silent for like 6 months. We're in fact encouraged not to provide suggestions on forums, yes. It feels very unfriendly, to say the least. I'm all by myself. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't think it's fair to be like, we don't want suggestions, and then at the same time be like, oh, we don't get why it's not working. Or like, an event turns out really disastrous because they just didn't go outside the think tank. I feel like it's, I'm not gonna use the word disingenuous, but I feel like if you're going to be like an admin, you kind of need thicker skin for criticism. I'll be real with you. Like, there are certain expectations that if you're hosting this kind of server, you have to be able to take a comment. Like, do you have to do anything with it? No. But, like, at the same time, it's just like, if they're wondering how to bring new players in, or they're wondering how to like extend it for the long term, but then they don't include the community, I don't know what they think is going to happen other than those feelings. Like, it doesn't matter what their intent is. If you don't communicate, you as a leader are just not going to do well. I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of server ownership 101. I don't feel like this is a very wildly outlandish take either. Rid of these. Or brands. It's the same with corporate drops. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it's just, if you want people to get excited for the events, like, I'll give you an example. Let's give an example where you don't even take community feedback. So let's even move away from that topic in case people get like super hung up on that. Other servers and stuff like that, if they have new features, would be teasing in a more consistent section, screenshots and spoilers, which I will say I've seen occasionally from the development team. Like, we saw like the party info, I think, teased on the Discord a couple days earlier, but like, it should be in its own spot, to be honest with you. Like, you have announcements as they are today, but like, normally that's a pretty big thing. Like, that would end up on like a news page in like any other server. So I feel like they have like some of the right ideas with it, but it's like, if it gets lost in the thousands of pages and general messages and don't put it in a more dedicated area, I feel like even things that are good, and I think people would generally agree are amazing for the server, just get kind of lost in it. It's like, let's be clear, there have been a lot of really overall strong changes that have been applied to the server over time. Like, people are asking for like X input support, or, you know, they have like the new camera controls. But like, as somebody that doesn't like live online perpetually on the Discord forum, I don't think I knew about half of that stuff until the day it released. Like, it's something I heard that they were doing, but there's like no timeline associated with it. And I don't need it down to, I'm not even talking about like down to the month or the week. It's not like, you know, oh, we're, you know, here are our goals in 2026. Like, what are they looking to do? Like, where do we feel like they don't have like the equivalency of like a retrospective, or like, you know, looking back on the year, what do we feel worked? What do we not feel worked? Like, think about like any other major game server where they talk about, you know, you have like letters to the public, like, these are the things that we feel about certain situations. And like, because we don't have like a more formal system for it, again, like, a lot of that info just gets kind of lost, even if it's like genuinely really positive stuff for the server. So I feel like they're not doing themselves justice with their own PR. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, they can have literally all the right ideas, but if you don't communicate it or convey it well, then it's like, what do you even do with that? Like, there were some, you know, like, we get good updates in terms of like, these are the quests that are coming out and stuff like that. But like, if somebody like leaves for a couple months and comes back, is there really a way for them to see some of these, you know, community comments or to do these other things? We don't really have like a lot of formal, easy access to these things. Like, I guess the closest would be maybe if they were in the Discord, they could try to go skim through the announcements. Sometimes, question mark? I don't know. Just read all the patch notes, yeah. I guess what I'm talking about is there's not really like a community news tab. There's like literally patch notes, but there's not like a... There's not like a... I was gonna say milestone, which is already a controversial topic. There's not really a... Chat knows what word I'm trying to go for. I'm gonna blame being tired. The term is not coming to me for some reason at the moment. Admin team is 4 people. Yeah, but I mean, like, some of these things are just like 2-sentence things. You know, here are our goals for the year. Is not exactly a very taxing endeavor. I'm sorry. Those are the things that are talked about, and it's like, okay, if we realize we didn't talk about them, then just write 2 sentences. Like rocket science. I'm sorry. As someone that manages, like, multiple small teams, I'm like... You could find the time, trust me. Because you have to think about it, like, in terms of, like, game releases, where you know... The modern equivalency would be talking about what's coming out in the season passes. But talking about, like, the outlines, like, oh, you know, I don't know if they want to go down to, like, oh, quarter 1 will be this, or quarter 2 will be this, but... Just having a general idea of how they feel about the game is just kind of, like... kind of unknown. And to some extent, it doesn't always matter. But when they suddenly just start jerking around with mechanics, it can lead to a lot of annoyance and confusion. Like, I think one of the easiest things to do ever, in terms of, like, player wellness, of people not getting mad, make events consistent dates. Period. Figure out a way to automate it. That should be their goal for 2026. I don't think there is anybody here that would disagree with how annoying it is for events to not start at consistent times. Like, they don't have to change anything else about the events, but be like, we have an automated process, because we are already learning to automate to turn things off, but we have an automated process to do that. I'd like a way to know what RBR is up next. Exactly. Like, let people schedule it. The issue with automating the events is they change the events every event. Again, I don't disagree with you on that, Lomain, but again, that's kind of the self-inflicted problem. Like, because they aren't satisfied with it, they'll never start it up on time. Wait, oh, she disappeared. We zapped her into the ether. We'll do this quest a few more times on Pick ID. And we'll switch it up a bit. So it's like, I think there are a lot of good changes, but at some point, they need to fix some of the more core events, right? Like, are we going to argue that it was, you know, should they have spent time making controller support a thing? Absolutely. Should they have done some of the other things relating to camera? Maybe, maybe not. But from the standpoint of, like, these events, a big issue is that even if you look at something like PSO 2, you knew many, many, many months in advance how things were going. And because they used to do things like HBR manually, it's like they could have at that point told you what the schedule is, or what they're at least planning to do for X number of days. Where by letting it automate, yes, it reduces the time it takes for them to maintain it, which, again, probably a good thing to aim for. But at the same time, it just leads to what feels like chaos and or just kind of bad coupling of events. So I really hope that they overhaul the automated events, even from RBR standpoint. Kind of like we all know that there's a set rotation in for like experience and stuff like that. I'm gonna go join the other player. Looks like Retract is by themselves. Retract can be a telefight. I'll give you a buff and then I'll leave. There we go. But I think from that standpoint, what they need to focus on is just making sure that if people want to spend serious time in an event, it is definitely a big frustration factor of not knowing when it starts. Oh, and Parameter crashed. Oh, looks like we're bailing on the quest / lobby time. Rip. Yeah, I mean it's to the point this year where it's definitely gotten so bad that I just refuse to take time off for the events. Like, I will put it that way. It has actually been so bad for the anniversary event. I'm like, oh, you're done for this tonight? Sorry about that, Parameter. Like, it has been so bad and so inconsistent that I refuse to take off during the events, right? Because, like, I work 9 to 5 every day. So it's like, it's hard to say, like, oh, I now have to think about and calculate, you know, whether or not it's going to be a rare enemy week or rare item week during the event. And then, like, I go to plan it, but then they don't start the event at a consistent time. So I have off and didn't get to do anything. So I got burned with that. Not last year, but I think the year before. And then I got tired of it. I was like, I literally said to myself, never again am I taking off in the early parts of events because they were so inconsistent. And it's a shame because sometimes the first week is like the only quote unquote like best week for the event. Right? Like you miss your rare drop rate week or you take off, but it's only for XP week. Right? They wait for XP bonus weeks so we get less drops. Damn. Feels that way. So what would you like to do, Retract, with just 2 people? I was kind of hoping Chris would be here, but I guess he's sleeping in today. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm just not been happy with how they've, like, do some CC for RM and Vivian. Sure, I guess. I don't think I've tried it with the first before. I don't think we'll get super far since we're just 2 people. We could try it, I guess. The main says I could swap games. Yeah, we definitely need some assistance. But I think it's just one of those things where it's like, it's very ironic that an event that they spend potentially months and months behind the scene on is just like borderline unplayable. Just like because of stuff like that. I'm like, most of us are, I would say, you know, I imagine we're all mostly older adults. I would still be in kind of the younger category. Because, I mean, a lot of people talk about on the forums that they played, like, the Dreamcast era PSO and stuff like that, and that was their first PSO. So it's not exactly people in their 20s, for the most part, joining. Not to say that that hasn't happened. We do know a couple people like that, but, you know, there's people in their, like, 50s and 60s that are playing the game. I don't feel like it would be an exaggeration to say the average age is probably closer to 40. That's like kind of respect the people's work schedules, please. Just like, please. I'm not exactly in college where I could just do like 5 hours every day on a game. It's not a thing anymore. But we'll wait for Lemaine to do some runs, I guess. But anyway, I don't think I have anything else to say about the topic. I think we exhausted at least what I wanted to talk about. If chat wants to throw out more points, I'll comment on them. But I think the other big topic I wanted to talk about in this stream specifically is kind of the inclusion of new players. So transitioning from Anniversary event being that stepping stone to get into Ultimate for a lot of players, I feel like there have been comments both on the YouTube and the Discord in particular talking about how people are like not sure when to take that step to joining other players. And I want to be very clear in terms of like when we play on stream. I genuinely do not care if you have played a quest before. The benefit of streaming in particular for me is that if I feel like something needs to be adjusted, I'll just make a comment as we stream. Most of the time, if you're playing something like a Force, if you're buffing and debuffing, that's all we could really ask for. We don't even need you to Resta necessarily. You existing is already good enough Like we talked about before, there are times where just like number of players is all that really matters. So like RBR, there's a big difference between solo, double, and triple. So even if you don't feel like you're killing a lot of enemies, quote unquote, compared to people that are more geared, I do think that we need to emphasize, especially to people that are on stream, that their presence is very much welcome. Like there's times where we just need like just even like fractions, we're talking like fractions of damage of the boss's health or like an enemy in order to make a run more viable. Like just by being a third player, there's more enemies that are potentially walking away from a potentially well-geared ranger because there's more attack targets. Or, you know, you're a level 90 cast that's in like a level 150 game. Like a single freeze trap from you is already infinitely better than us playing like duos all the way through. So I do feel like when it comes to like when you feel ready, a lot of that is a personal feel. I would like to advise that I would recommend that even if you feel we're on Block 2 Fodra, yeah. That even if you feel like you are under geared, the only way to really get quote unquote good gear is to play in a group. It is extremely hard in Ultimate to get going when a lot of your items are not easy to hunt. So for example, Frozen Shooter, rare example of something you can get by yourself. You don't need a group to get your first Frozen Shooter if you don't want it. Do you need to be a high level or well geared to join people doing Terrell's Ego during Rare Enemy Week? Absolutely not. You should be joining those regardless of level. TTF is a bit harder to clear. Password is king, lowercase K-I-N-G. So from the standpoint of the quests, I would say, you know, I would understand more hesitancy on episode 2. And I would say kind of just feel things out. See where it goes from there. Welcome, Lomain. Oh, you have a force. If you have a force, I'll just play Pink Ranger, actually. Let me swap characters then if you have a force. Welcome, Promethean. I have to think about what character it's in. Let's reset, because I don't want to do a force. Give me a second. Welcome, Promethean. So I think from that standpoint, you know, I would say if you're really not sure, just kind of check the area. I don't see any reason at all players should feel hesitancy to join stuff in like forests and caves. I'm going to be real honest with you. TTF is kind of a mixed bag because it could be kind of hard for players to deal with those enemies. But I feel like overall, like, even stuff like to an extent, like some of the quests that we do in Tower or some of the quests that we do in like mountains, for example. You know what? I'll just leave it passwordless. If somebody wants to join in, they could join in. I don't really care at this point. Just need to get my Baran's launcher and we're good to go. I feel like you might be underestimating like how useful you will be if you have just any kind of damage source at all. It could even just be like common weapons. You don't have to have like Heaven Strikers and stuff like that to be useful. There are so many times where just your presence is welcome. I really want to emphasize that whenever we see new players or potentially people that are listening in on the streams. How good it is that we just have a fourth player. You know, things like Phantasmal World reward you for having players. RBR rewards you for having multiple players. TTF, even to an extent, rewards you for having a high number of players. And again, it's like you're not going to be able to get some of the items on your own. Like, are you expected to get like a V101 by yourself? Probably not. Can you get a Heavenly Battle by yourself? Maybe if you happen to luck into Red ID. But those are things where you're either going to have to trade it or you need multiple characters. Thank you for the good luck and parameter. And you know, we try to welcome players on the stream. Funny enough, Prometheus here for this comment. Where, you know, we try to do a cookie run. Where we just get to let them experience, you know, high level XP. Where it's just like, we would rather do it with a full group, if able. Hopefully you're doing well, Promethean. So I will say, as I said before, the only thing I would probably hesitate on, and my only recommendation as a new player, is specifically Seabed and Tower are probably the only ones where I would not recommend going in blind. So you could come in and try the quest out, and then you can make your own personal decision. You know, maybe you're still playing single player at level 160, 180, and it actually isn't that big of a deal. Like you're you know, you're Ramar with Frozen Shooter, like you're kind of the perfect person for the job. So, you know, there's always the exception to the rule. Or, you know, if you just want to learn a quest and you're not sure like where all the spawns are, I would even just recommend playing a Force in a lot of those areas. Like, especially when people are hesitant to join episode 4 as a Force. I'm just like, that always boggles my mind. I'm like, this is your episode, trust me. Trust me, there is no one that will turn down a game with you. They would be like, oh wow, I get yet another Gafoe spammer at episode 4? Absolutely. Why would we say no? We have no reason to say no. Methane says, watching my daughter meltdown because the JoJo panel at the end shows. Oh, sorry to hear you didn't get the Steel Ball Run updates. But yeah. So that would be my only caveat. I would say that there's really no reason to ever shy away from forest caves. I would say mines is a bit more iffy. Again, just try to find people that play more frequently, and just the only way to really learn how to be good at the quest is to eventually watch somebody do it. Like, honestly, like, you can get to a point where you're comfortable with it, but the comfort strats aren't necessarily like the speed strats or like the best strats, quote unquote. So, like, honestly, if you want to step up your game, you either have to watch stuff online or play with high-level players. And I don't mean me, I'm just kind of average. I could be honest with you. There's some quests I do extremely well, and then others I'm just okay, because I just don't play the game, like, hour after hour in these categories. Like, am I doing CCC right here? Probably not. But, you know, I'm going to counteract that by having strong gear. Whereas, like, if I want to learn, like, a Lost Charge Vulcan, or if I want to learn like an MAE tower quest, I will be playing with like a lot of veteran players. I'm not going to be sitting here going like, oh, I don't know if I have enough items, blah, blah, blah. Like, I am absolutely playing with like the HellCleaves and the Tekkiums and the Prometheans. They're like, yeah, we're going to learn how to deal with episode 2 today. You know, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and people understand. And then I think when there's new quests like these, the virtual limits, like, again, just play the quest once or twice. Maybe, you know, if you're very new to PSO, you know, just see what the quest is like. And then, you know, you'll realize, you're like, oh, it's not too bad. Yeah, I could see it with like a couple people. As long as people were debuffing, I could probably do it. Just throw it in the quest. My strength is my weakness, cookies. I keep seeing in the trading forums people posting cookies, wanting to buy cookies. I'm like, no. Promethean hasn't given you permission to get cookies, I'm sorry. It's not happening, people in the trading one. You can try to believe if you want, but... Oh, I'm dead here. Oh no, I survived. People stocking up before Halloween, yeah. Not wrong. Man, this XP is pretty solid. I like that we're at like 200 plus XP with just 3 players. Like, again, like, new players could just be joining this, and then honestly, just eat the XP a little bit. So then if you're worried you're at like level 100 or whatever, just level. Maybe Jung, since I think I have 30 cookies from last year. Oh boy. Let's not tell them how many cookies I have, thanks to Promethean. It's a number. Oh, Caliber dropped. No hit percentage, though. Promethean's like, wait, somebody has 30 cookies? I want! Promethean hungry! I need more cookies. Man, the Sprans launcher is so fun. What's my money total like? That's still decent. Do you want to sell those cookies? I was gonna say, Promethean will definitely buy those cookies. Let me be clear, chat. He is the cookie monster. You know a guy. His name might be Promethean. He might be looking for cookies. The Eternal quest goes on. Yeah, I'm just hoping they don't nerf Halloween quest. I will briefly segue back into that. Please do not nerf the Halloween quests. Please do not nerf the Halloween buffs. Please do not nerf Halloween event. I'm okay with them potentially nerfing what they did last year. Make lower difficulties less enticing to get cookies. I'm okay with that. You could discourage bad play patterns. I don't think that's the end of the world there. I'll do for more CCC. Oh, that is quite a name. I think I saw them on stream last time. I mean, if they want to join our thing, I don't really care. Want more players. But I don't necessarily want to go to block 1 for that. Put away some materials first. Oh, right. I'm capped on, like, everything known to man. Forgot. I guess I will briefly check if there's anything interesting in the shop. No. Okay. So I guess we'll proceed. I don't see anybody joining. So we'll probably do some, like, cookie for cookie things, where people have, like, 10 cookies. We'll give them 10 of ours, so we just alternate. I do a cookie, they do a cookie. That way we just increase the odds of getting more cookies. I really like the fact that they boosted the rate of getting cookies during cookie quests. That kind of stuff I'm okay with. Like, that's a balanced change. It's not just like a straight up removal of features. So that I'm okay with those kinds of things to events. So hopefully we'll keep the cookies going forever once we have a stockpile. I think HellCleave has some. I think Chris has quite a few that he hasn't used. So we'll see what quests people end up wanting to do with cookies. I think people were doing a lot of white power cookies, if I remember correctly. I'll have to grab a few. Yeah, as I said before, we have so many. I'm dedicating at least 50 to just Halloween. And we'll likely get at least 5 back before the end. Yeah, and if Promethean hosts, we might not ever stop Halloween quests once the hosting starts. But we'll try to save up. As I said before, hopefully they don't nerf it. They leave it exactly where it is. Or if they want to include, like, non-cookie related quests, I'm also kind of okay with that. Again, I said before, you know, they have an opportunity if they want to add more event quests, I'm okay with it. I just don't want it to all be in Christmas event and MAE. There we go. On the plus side, this character is getting some decent XP. Like, this Rocket Seal is actually getting to a point where she can hold her own. 936 ATP is okay. Sadly, no Vivian still. Because her getting stronger also makes it easier for me to do Endless Episode 2, as well as technically Endless Episode 1. Honestly, I think both of those quests are pretty good for Pink ID. I wouldn't mind playing Rocket Seal into those. Finally, with more freeze traps, being a little more useful. Oh, I got knocked down, that sucks. The back-to-back knockdown really sucked. Slightly too lined up, that was my bad. Got the power material. I think the game made me face the camera, but I couldn't see where I was facing because I'm so short. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I was holding forward when I shot, but it definitely hit the target closest to me for some reason. That's fine. Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm out of freeze traps, really? Thought I had one more. I don't even feel like I used that many in the other room, but I guess she does only have like 12 or some nonsense number versus the, you know, 18 plus that Rawcast would be at by now. Flash Ucast. Oh well. Yeah. I still managed to run out, yeah. Like, I used a few in Temple, but I guess I might have flicked a couple by accident and not realized I did it. Because I thought I only used like 10 or so, but I must have dropped some while running around. Not realized I did it. So overall, I'm just hoping, you know, we could be, you know, I think the message to the community, our version of the community news, is I just want to make sure new players realize that, like, listen, we don't need you to be experts in quests. Even I don't know what I'm doing in a large majority of these quests. It'll be fine. We can learn together. Nice level up. I finally got my freeze traps back. Ooh, accuracy up too. It's always nice. At least I have 14 traps now. For a long time I was just running 12, which is kind of rough. And things like the virtual limits coming out are a perfect opportunity to just join a quest and learn it. RBR can be kind of hit or miss. I will warn, I guess, the new players. As I said before, if you're not sure what a quest is, just check what area it does. And if you feel like you are genuinely low level, like you don't have, you know, some staples, you know, you're not sporting charged Vulcans or computers, probably avoid most of episode 2. I think Temple, for example, is okay to do. Spaceship can be kind of mediocre if you don't have like a good charge arm or like a really good Disca. So, you know, there's kind of like the caveats in the different places I'd recommend. And that's also why I would recommend, if you really don't know what to bring into a quest, we'll be advertising our quest list a bit more. Again, that name in the lobby is something. Where hopefully people will get a better understanding of what kinds of things they should bring into quests. Because again, it could be daunting as a new player to look at a list of like 100 quests and genuinely not know whether or not a quest is worth running. So I'm hoping that when an anniversary event is over, we will go through and do a formal quest list. If we have additional quests, I'm not sure if it's worth making a new video to cover some of those. I might just update like a pinned comment on it. And like obviously our Google Doc that holds the information will be updated. But again, like, am I going to make a new video because they did 2 new quests today? Probably not. But if people have questions on the quests and they ask on the YouTube comments, I'll probably just reply to it. And again, most of the time I've been pretty much on point with updating the quest list. The only thing at this point I haven't touched are the special events. I believe now every quest in episode 1 and episode 2 and episode 4 have been tagged. So unless it's a special event, I think everything should be there, and it even covers like RVR versus not RVR. If you're wondering if a quest is potentially worth running, you could take my opinion on it with a grain of salt. Again, I have a bias to not running as many episode 2 quests, but I feel like I did a fairly good job in terms of including quests I would run. I think there were like 15 or 16 quests I put on there that were quote-unquote runnable. But again, like I made sure to mark their difficulty down. So like if you're at the point, oh, I got one shot. If you're at the point if you're not sure whether or not you're able to handle a quest, I tried to give some recommendations and like gear tags for new players. Like, I don't think mines are necessarily really hard, but if you're playing with a team with no freeze traps, it can be difficult. It's one of those things where like a lot of the difficulty is mitigated by what you bring. Do I think you need something like freeze traps and forests and caves? No, and I don't list it as like a tag. Will it help you to bring? Probably. I mean, freeze traps are very overpowered, as are frozen shooters. But sometimes you just need raw DPS. And some of that will come just from levels and other things. And I also tried to mark in a couple of points in the quest guide whether quests were really solid for XP. Oh yeah, I don't remember if I wrote something special for Beyond the Horizon. I'm actually going to double check myself. I don't remember if I put something special for that. There are a couple of quests I listed, like, these are runs people do for resetting XP. So, like, EN4, I made a comment, I'm pretty sure, in Phantasmal World 3. Which, again, I don't expect new players to know what any of that means when they first hear it. But by being able to look it up, they'll go like, oh, okay. Now I can learn how I can level solo. Like, I don't have amazing gear, but maybe I can do, like, the Terrell's Ego or something like that. Oh, expecting the next wave. I was shooting for the next wave. So hopefully stuff like that will encourage new players to join in a bit more and feel more confident about their difficulty level. Like, it's definitely a difference of, like, if you're playing with people that are all literally fresh in Ultimate, and again, that's where I recommend you would probably stick to lower difficulty runs until you get some better levels to compensate for lack of endgame items. But if you're somebody that frequents the trades and you have, like, maxed out materials, probably still do, like, what I'll consider in, like, the 3 to 4 difficulty star range. Like, you could probably clear some mine quests, and there's maybe some things in Ruins you could do, but you're still not gonna jump into, like, Tower or, like, Seabed until you have those levels. Promethean says, most of the cookies go to Ziggy's stream, so as long as you hear it, my cookie's still my cookie, I don't share. Something like that. So hopefully by, you know, my goal to help onboard people is obviously just communicate whenever we're doing a quest, you know, my thought process through. When we're doing a new quest, it's more me just experiencing it, so I don't have any strategies yet. But like in CCC, I just know I should be sticking around the sides. So like, I'll try to comment if I feel like I haven't commented in a while on how to do the quest. Or like, we've done several times on stream before, where people have not done, like, the episode 4 boss quests. And those quests I'm, like, extremely, extremely comfortable explaining. So, like, I would rather people just get, quote-unquote, tutored or taught how to do it in those sessions, rather than trying to come in with, oh, you need to memorize every spawn, or, oh, you don't have Heaven Striker, Baran's Launcher, hundreds, or whatever. I don't care. I don't play with people that have a lot of those, since I play with a mix of some new people and some veterans. And even for the people that I played with that have been on stream for a couple of years, like, they're not even, like, fully kitted on all their characters. So I do want to dissuade that notion that you have to have, like, every item ever to join in, especially in our games. Like, some people have received their first Flame to Argent and Excals on stream. One day Dango will join those ranks. I mean, I wasn't thinking of you specifically with that, Promethean, but it's true. I mean, if you feel comfortable with, like, a Frozen Shoot or Spread Needle, honestly, like, those very basic items, not even, like, upgraded, will carry you far. And then, obviously, if you... Oh, I didn't mean to dive from Gantz there. That's unfortunate. And then, obviously, if you do end up upgrading over time, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not gonna kick you from a game because you don't have Charge Arm, for example, or you don't have a Baran's launcher. I would prefer if something is like more time attack oriented, it would be like a, if you're not sure, I would rather you ask. I feel like the answer will still be yes 90% of the time, if not 95. Dango says looks around nervously with Arquicus without charge Vulcan for 180. And it's not even like Dango doesn't do stuff on the stream. Like, I just want to, like, be clear. Like, you... Oh, it did have hit percentage. I picked that up earlier. I'm so sad. That could have been a good caliber. Disappointed in you, caliber. We'll do one more of these, and then I'd like to switch up the quest a bit. So if we want to go to TTF or MAE nonsense, just let me know which you would prefer. Where, like, just sometimes, like, as I said before, you inherently being a cast, you could get away with, like, almost literally zero equipment. Retract says self-found is a tough life to live, and I think training has made many veterans forget about that. Yes. And I feel like that is why I was emphasizing earlier in particular, assuming it's just us, so I'll continue. I feel like that's why I want to emphasize that, like, a lot of these items are not easy for new players to get. So I think I was talking about before, like, Frozen Shooter is an example of something you can hunt. But, like, if you want your first Spread Needle, I mean, you gotta beat a Chaos Springer. You think you're gonna do that with a character that's, like, 120? Fresh, no trades? I mean, it's like technically doable. Like, if you technically want to spend, like, 35 minutes plus every run, you could do it. See, you say Cannon Rouge? I'm gonna say your first Heaven Striker, it could be rough without a group. You think you're gonna get a Heaven Striker early on as a Ranger without trades? You think you could clear anything in episode 4? You're not doing anything. Get out of here. Like, first you gotta get a Cannon Rouge just to be able to solo to get to the Heaven Striker as, like, a raw Marl. Then you gotta figure out all your weapons you need to kill the lizards. Or, you know, you just join in a party that could deal with the things you can't deal with, and then you just get the items that you wouldn't normally be able to get. It's still technically self-found. Like, you joined the quest and you got the item for people that are being that finicky. But just realize that, like, there are just so many key items that are just not attainable for you at low levels. And or the intent behind a lot of the quests are that, like, you aren't supposed to be able to solo this until you are, like, really, really far in the game. Like, the difference between doing, like, episode 2 with, like, V502 and Hell and your clear speed compared to, like, a brand new player is, like, astronomical. But, like, do I need you to bring in a V502 into Temple or Spaceship? No. So, it's just one of those things where, like, maybe some people are picky. I'm only more concerned about it if there's a time limit. Like, CCC, if I came in with 3 brand new players, if all we're doing is Temple Reset, it's probably okay. If we wanted to do, like... Ouch, I got run over. If I wanted to do the quests that are in, like, RBR while the timer is still there, then there's, like, more of a gear dependency. But I think things like RBR remove a lot of the less friendly aspects of those quests. Like, we're no longer on, like, a 10-minute time limit, or, you know, we're doing our underground episode 4 quests in burning rooms. Like, those things are not necessarily new player friendly. So it'll be like, I won't subject you to the quest. I will just play something else. And I think that's also what I want to emphasize. I will adapt to the players that we have for the most part. I will try to support players and our strengths and try to do things. Like, there are quests that I think are really fun in 4-player, but I'm not going to do them because we just don't have 4 players. Or if I have people that are fresh, we're not going to be going to Tower or Seabed. But there's, like, dozens of other options that are equally as valid and still fun. So I think it's definitely a shame when people feel like they aren't, quote-unquote, strong enough to join. Where I'm like, man, they're adding, like, potentially hundreds of hours to the playtime, but not necessarily in a way that they might find fun, because they could be struggling to deal with a lot of these endgame enemies, where, like, if they just joined up for, like, 3 hours, or even, like, 20 games, or some equivalency thereof, they would be like, not only would they have the levels to then make solo more manageable, but they might even pick up an endgame item, which would make solo like an actual reality versus like an unforeseeable mess. And like they'll go back to things like potentially episode 4 Massive Attack and be like, remember, yeah, solo levels just peeking through the door. Like, yeah, like it's there's all the quests that are like technically doable, but they're not really fun, or at least I don't find it fun to play it that way. And, you know, I get it to some extent. Some people are like, they're like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm being carried or I'm not contributing. But again, it's like, we understand when we look at the levels, we're like, we're not expecting you to be like primary DPS at like level 90. And we could see that you're using like regular partisan or something as a UCAS. Like, it's fine. We all start somewhere. I just feel like generally those people will end up not having a good time and quitting out because they got in their own headspace that they felt like they couldn't join. And I think that's a big shame. So, you know, whenever we stream, I try to emphasize, like, we're just looking for people. So I wanted to spend extra time on that topic because I do think it's important that we go on the record, as it were. We reported in the VOD that we are looking for you. We don't care what your level is. We don't care how much you've played PSO before. I don't care if you've played certain quests before. I think on stream in particular, looping back into Anniversary Event again, like, I don't expect people to know how to run Anniversary Tower. It's one of my favorite quests, and I am more than happy to hard carry a majority of that quest so other people can learn it, and they could be in, like, the mid-120s. Like, more experienced players should be able to just teach you, like, you know, you need a certain HP threshold, so we'll avoid you going in, like, episode 4 Dwarfons until you have enough HP. Like, experienced players will take that into consideration and not just, like, meat grinder you into an unfair quest. Now, granted, that's, you know, that is my approach to it. Maybe that's not always true, but I do try to think of those things while we play with my free straps. Tekkium says we all gotta learn somehow. More bodies means I don't get targeted by every enemy. Exactly. Exactly, Tekkium. We were talking about that earlier. I'm like, sometimes you just being in the room and pulling people away is honestly more important than any DPS you could do. Like, I joke about it, but, like, genuinely, it is becoming a very real strategy. When I play, like, episode 2 RT, I spend more time baiting Galgriffin than attempting to attack. And you don't need any gear for that at all. Like, suddenly all the rangers could just free Cannon Rouge Galgriffin because I'm just running around like an idiot, drawing out all the tornadoes. Do you know what I mean? Okay, one last one, and then I need chat to pick the next quest. Yeah, it's like, I will defer to people that have played episode 2 more than me on certain quests. There are things I can always learn in terms of positioning. So, like, I'll play a quest once or twice, and then I'll go, oh, right, this is the pattern. You know, the murder flowers are in, like, an ABC pattern. CCC again on Blue ID? I don't know about that. Nice try, though. Teehee funny. Hope you're doing well, Tekkium. I'm almost thinking Viridian. We might do Viridian MAE. Unless chat wants to do another quest. If nobody has suggestions, I'll bring in my Rocket Seal that is Viridian for it. Because that way we have off chance Red Ring. But we also get a lot of V101s. Because I am looking for V101s. Let me be very clear. I'd just like to hunt those out of the way rather than buy them. I'm kind of a mix of, like, self-bound and trade. It's like, I do eventually want to get the items, but I'm not going to, like, wait to get the item, if that makes sense. Like, I have bought Heaven Strikers and stuff like that, but it's not like I haven't hunted them down before. Down for Falls chances or episode 4. Yeah, if we do Viridian MAE, it'll potentially go into Falls. That should be fun. And then we'll probably still end the stream, maybe with the TTF. Because I know people are getting tired of TTF. Trust me, I've seen the YouTube comments. They're like, no more TTF. Sadly, it is a necessary evil. For a field, nice. Oh, it's max statted? Nice. Congratulations. Hopefully that ends up either being a fun collector item or some PDs for you. Why does it keep pausing? Please. You're on extended so I don't have to keep clicking you. Oh, YouTube. Yeah, like, again, like, some people are more ready for what I'll consider the harder quests. But again, like, I feel really bad that people are, like, really hesitant to join us. Where it's like, I would literally play quests that are beginner-friendly. If you're like, I'm new to Ultimate, and I'm looking to come in, I absolutely will, like, if I'm mid-quest, I might say wait until the end of the quest. Don't get me wrong there. But I will absolutely be like, if I'm, like, playing with a 3-man squad, I'm not gonna say no to it for it. It's just not how that works. Like, please, just come join the group, get the XP. Learn a quest or two while you play with us. Mimic another player. That's the same way when you pull me in a rescue in Terrell's. Yeah, I'm like, these are the quests where I'm like, please. It's just like, please, trust me. I'm like, you could do them. They're not that bad. We'll ease you into it. 4-man with Forest, where people are buffing you, makes a big difference. Like, you being solo cast, or like solo Ramar into Forest at 80, not a fun time. You playing with the Force and everybody else stun-locking all the enemies, much better time. I'm just like, your gear doesn't even have to change. Like, trust me, it'll be really good. So it's like, I'm more than willing to teach those kinds of things. I got a little burned out on Terrell's, so I haven't been playing it as recently. But we might end up doing it in rotation. As I said before, it all comes down to how much I'm protesting Anniversary Event. Like, how many other quests we end up doing on stream. But yeah, as of today, I've not set aside time for that event still. I don't plan to. So yeah, I'm thinking we'll do some Viridian. I'll put this Baran's launcher away so I can enjoy the other quest. Like, the MAE quest is definitely... The one that we're doing, I would say, is actually harder than TTF. Because there's so many raw enemies you have to kill, which is hard to deal with certain team comps. But if there's 2 casts playing, like, I'm assuming Retract will keep playing their cast, and we have a Forest, we should be fine. Not anyone joining? I don't think so. So by all means, Tekkium. Unfortunately, I think Chris was supposed to be here. He wanted to do virtual limits. He wasn't here. So if you want some off-chance Red Ring V101 shenanigans, we'll do a couple of resets there. How many versions of this song are there? Apparently quite a few. Goodbye, my freeze traps. At least this time I had some. Yeah, this character ended up getting a lot of XP here. I'm feeling pretty good about using her at events going forward. Wanted to run it because you think it was episode 2 resistances. Oh, you wanted to do VL2? I guess we could do... It's kind of a weird mix, I would say, Tekkium. It's not all EDK-able, which kind of sucks. I was planning on just doing Boss Rush. Or our version of Boss Rush, I should say. Yeah, VL1 is fine. We played that a lot earlier. VL2 is okay. It favors like Sky and Pink ID. It's nice that there's some quests that they could do there. But overall, episode 1 looking like a kind of purple, blue, yellow kind of ID. With some more like off chance if you want to do Ubers on the other IDs. Yeah, we ended up getting a hit percentage Heaven Striker from there. So I gotta say it rewarded me today. So we'll put that away. I don't need general armor. I'm gonna transition. I'll play Viridian into this. Assuming we have players for that. Let's switch over to... Going to here. I think it'll be this. Oh well, I gave up my money from the counter, but it's fun. Ooh, nice. Hopefully that nets you something good. So as long as we have some players, I'm down for some Viridians. Then we might humor Tekkium's BL 1 and 2s. But I want to say we at least went for some quests here, assuming we have people playing. Although if it's just 2 players again, then I'm not going to do the other quests. I'll switch it up. Uh-oh, I see nobody in the lobby. I'll wait a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind playing Force into it, but we'll need damage. We'll see if anybody joins. Check out the shopkeeper while we wait. Here for moral support, but you need me to join. Yeah, we'll definitely need somebody to join. 2 men of this quest is kind of rough. Yeah, this is where I feel like this quest is more geared to 3-player than some of the other quests. I feel like vanilla PSO is geared towards 2-player, and then like a lot of the custom quests are 3-player, and then some very rare quests are 2 to 4-player. Let me know what class you want to play, Promethean. I'll switch out accordingly. Oh, got a Force. That's good. Hello, hello. Well, suddenly we had everybody hop in all at once. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. Sure, we'll go with this group. Okay, so here's the deal with this quest. Okay, Lomain says this will be the last run. We'll see how far we get in this run. We might be doing a couple of resets here. We'll see what happens. I don't mind playing Viridian Force in case we need a Force. I just need to know what people are playing, that's all. But for now, we have a Force. I'm gonna come over here. So, I would recommend... If you are a ranger, the enemies are kind of in the corners that are problems, which are the Oblilis. You can see I'm just going to pick them off from the side. I like to do the bottom right, because that's just how I learned how to do the quest. If you are a Force... Oh, I forgot my brands. That's actually a problem for later. If you're a Force, Rafoi is extremely powerful here. This is one of the quests where I actually don't recommend doing Rafoi at all. So for example, when you come in this room in particular, Rafoi shuts down every single Lily in this room one cast. Without a force, you gotta be careful, because you got 2 people on the side, and then you gotta kill the other enemies there as well. So we'll learn if we have to reset the quest or not. There is a door coming up. If we do not see the door open to the north, we reset. Hopefully we get the northern door open here. So we're going to trigger 3 grass assassins. Please open the north door. Damn, we got the side door. Reset time. I mean, technically we could check the lilies if we want to. They're pretty easy to kill with Refoe. You might notice the theme here. Refoe kind of murders everything. So I guess I'll kill a couple of these. This is more just for PD checks. Yeah, Refoe just absolutely dumpsters this room. It's so funny. I actually like that they kind of thought about how forces would clear its quest, but let's do a reset. Hopefully we could get it in a couple of tries. It's not a super long quest, but we need the game to cooperate. I did not mean to set password there. Or the password. Yeah, we need that door to open up to the north, because it's technically an RNG quest. But we'll be fine. If Lemaine comes back, we'll continue onwards. Otherwise, I'll bring in a force so that we have some damage coverage. Also force if I'm tired of it, maybe. Okay, if it's a real path, I'm gonna telepipe to get my Brand's launcher to make my life easier. It actually doesn't matter for caves, because I don't have a beast. Matters more for the future areas. So again, you'll see me kind of go to like a set pattern every time I come in here. I'm gonna take care of one lily every time. Come on, V101. These. I'm gonna shut down the enemies on the right side of the room, so we don't need to worry about them. Technically, the dragon will. Oh, I forgot my HP was low. I was like, oh right, I was using Heaven Striker. I can't survive that. GG. Alright, let's see if we get the good reset here. I mean, we're still getting good item chances, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather do the full quest. Unfortunately, it's not entirely under control. There we go, good quest. I'm gonna telepipe back because I need the Brand's launcher. Okay. As the music picks up, that's appropriate. Hello, random confuse trap. Yeah, this room is also amazing for Refoe, honestly. The only thing I'll say is as we get to the final room, or ruins, we'll need a lot of Resond. So if you have things you want to set up for that, just be aware that, like, at least 80% of the enemies will be something you need to Resond. But for now, it's Refoe time. The dragon hit me, messed me up a little bit. I'm gonna put down a use craft for that enemy. As long as they're confused, they can't split, so by the time they get to Lord, they'll just kind of melt. Better than using a freeze trap on them. Confused lasts longer. Yeah, this quest, the reason I'm breaking out the Brands Launcher, there are so many enemies and ruins here. This is a harder quest to do with newer players, but I'll show you that if you just, like, wait a little bit with your freeze traps, you can end up freezing the sorcerers and also shutting down most of the room. So that way, even people that aren't well set up are here. Oh my god, yeah, here's the Razan room. Razanda clock time. It's like, almost every room is Razandable. It's kind of wild. Okay, what path are we getting? Okay, so we're getting the northern room, which is a lot of Death Gunners. So just be aware that it's not the first couple of waves, but I think the second time something spawns in, there's going to be Chaos Bringers. I will try to freeze them. So that way we don't need to deal with them as much. I'm going to go for the Death Gunner freeze here. I'm going to walk by, freeze them. Most of the big threats are going to be in the middle. The Force mostly just has to avoid rebuttering the Chaos Bringers. They take a little bit to spawn, so you have some time to react to them. I'm going to wait for them a little bit. So I'm going to put a delayed freeze trap down into a freeze. Perfect. That's a lot of LDs. Well, if you have a Razand, this is your time to have fun. As I said before, there are a lot of Razand enemies back to back to back. I'll try to freeze the Darkbringers consistently so the Force doesn't need to have a panic attack. Because otherwise, like, the Force will build up charges on the Chaos Bringer. So this is where, like, having an experienced player freeze things is important. Again, a lot of the time it'll be kind of like walking in the room, waiting a certain amount of time to deal with the enemy spawn delay, and then freezing the big bads. Otherwise, the Force is going to help clear out Death Gunners because they're annoying. Indie Belras, also weak to Razan. Claws, also weak to Razan. You'll see Ribarda used against the Bull Claws to slow them down. Hopefully we'll hit them with freeze traps, but it might not always happen. I expect a lot of sorcerers in the middle here, so just good luck. But we'll take care of these. Yeah, look at that. When you have a Brands Launcher, you can just hard bully this room. Get out of here. LD's nuts. Damn. Echo got him. So again, you'll see me go to the corners of the rooms and most of the quests here. So here's an example of a Bull Claw that can be annoying, but... Oh, it's being annoying to me. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Sometimes I freeze it on time, sometimes I don't. I'm gonna believe in the chat on that one. Okay, so... For those not aware, this room is going to be the Falls Long Room. So we're going to need everybody to go left. If you are aware of the spawns, you could go slightly right and put freeze traps as you go through. But just be aware, everybody needs to be left. We all need to go left. If you don't do that, it'll be a little messy. So I'm going to wait for people a little bit here. There we go. I'm going to put a freeze trap down here. Don't follow me. I'm just doing some freeze traps. Don't mind me. Yeah, that is suddenly much doable. Yeah, see, we froze like every priority target. Now I'm gonna go all the way to the, I'm coming all the way over here. We're gonna freeze the big bads. And now the room is basically free. We just have one uncontrolled Darkbringer, which we'll kill in a minute. That's fine. That's fine, we killed him. Okay, so run basically over. So if we get falls, the left door is gonna open. If it's bonus room, to the right, that's where the Force gets to have a lot of fun as well. Oh, it's Falls time. Falls the clock. Let's go. Teach Falls how it's done. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say, we're overdue for a red ring on this quest. Yeah, I like that quest. I like this quest a lot in terms of just pacing because, one, you get a ton of enemies to kill. There's a lot of PD chances. Two, it brings back V101 into a red ring run, and there's also still a lot of really good items you pick up along the way. So is it going to be like the fastest to get to red ring? No. Does it give you a lot of value on the way to red ring? Absolutely. So good. So you'll see me kind of take some pot shots here. Oh, I was going to dodge that, but I saw somebody died, so I had to go back towards them. Yeah, generally speaking, you can see the Heaven Striker pew-pew lasers can instantly kill them, which is very amusing. But for the most part, you just need a high damage gun, so if you don't have a Heaven Striker, red handgun's a pretty good alternative for most character classes. It'll be much stronger than a ray gun, literally doing like 30 to 40 more damage a shot, which can make a difference when you're leveling. Again, there's a lot of kind of like interim gear that you don't necessarily use at level 200, but they make your life easy, and that's an easy pickup from Forest. You don't need to eat, just farm PDs. So we'll have a free slot after Lomain heads off after this run. I'm not sure, Dingo, if you wanted to hop in and do some runs with us. I could switch over to a Force. So as long as the Force basically debuffs falls, that's pretty much all we need them to do. So again, if you're like a new Force, you're playing as like a level 80 character, debuffs and buffs. Here, we'll try to take some pot shots on the boss. Hopefully the boss cooperates. This is where a lot of new players will die. Again, just kind of move to one side, and you'll generally dodge things. If you want to survive the ice attack from falls, my recommendation as a Force is if you get 3 seals and Glide Divine, you're actually essentially immortal to the boss, and it can't kill you anymore. So if you do feel like you do die often, I will just say that as a general recommendation. It is really, really strong. Chad has seen me do that to just face tank falls with like 1300 health. Technically, you could get away without using 3 seals, but it's so strong. This is one of those quests where, oh, it's so good. I should probably safety heal here. Ooh, it went away from me. Glide Divine does give resistance, actually. It gives, I think, 15 to all resists, and it makes you so tanky with 3 seals. I cannot state to you, like, how godlike it is. When you realize that thing gives you resistances, not only does it make debuffing the boss easier with the Zalora range enhancement, but it makes you immortal to the EDK insta-kill nonsense the boss can sometimes do. Yeah, you'll literally see me face tank. And then what I would recommend, if you have 3 seals and let's say like a Congeal Cloak or Ignition Cloak, you can actually just sit there and spam Gafoi on the Ring Around the Rosy phase in order to kill the spinners. So even if the boss does like 1,000, 1,200 damage to you, Gafoi will actually delete all of the spinners and you can't die anymore. You're essentially immortal. Gonna switch to Rawcast, no worries. But yeah, you're essentially immortal. It's so good. So that's my new upgrade there. You forgot to Glide Divine? No worries. It's so good. So usually I'll just bring in Glide Divine pretty much the whole time. I like technically should swap out a bit more. I use like Commander Blade since I'm the leader of the guild. So you'll see me do stuff other than Glide Divine to like help their accuracy. But yeah, you could literally autopilot Glide Divine in every other scenario. It's so good. And don't feel bad. I didn't realize it had resistances for like the longest time. I had it for like months and I was like, wait a minute, why is my EDK like 70? Like this doesn't make sense. And then I unequipped it and I was like, oh. But yeah, that 15% ice is like really good for resistances. I recommend if you're like a faux Neural or like a faux Marl that has free slots, even one heavenly resist basically makes you immortal to the boss. So even if you don't have Glide Divine, you could end up with just kind of a couple of general fire and ice resists and be invincible. Okay, so I think Lomain, you said you're going to drop off to get food. I'll adjust the party accordingly. Why do I have 19 power material? Hold on. What is this? I gotta put some of that away. No worries, Lomain. Hopefully you had fun. We're gonna move on to other quests. And maybe we'll end with another VL. It's for Tekkium. So I'll play a Viridian human. But yeah. See, I'm always learning something new about falls. Every year, I think I improve my fall strategies, because I don't like hardcore grind it. I'll do like the, I'll play it once or twice a month, maybe. Then like that's about it. But we'll pick up some things here and there. Okay. So I'm gonna switch in to be a Phonuman, and I'm gonna show you how autopilot this quest could be as a force. I think this is one of those rare quests in episode 1 where I genuinely think I actually have more fun as force, but it's definitely also important to have some casts with you, because a cast that can freeze the sorcerers and freeze the Chaos Bringers is so essential to having a good time with this quest. I will say that this quest has like a higher requirement than most, but it is rewarding. So again, it's like, it's being able to identify like who's with you and like the appropriate level of gear. So like if we have a retract and we have, you know, me on force, we cover most of the bases that are needed for the quest. Everybody else is just along for the ride, honestly. Yeah, I'll put a password in. You bring in the future if you need it. Honestly, I respect people doing the force. It gives me a chance to play something other than force. I'm not gonna say no to being able to enjoy Baran's launcher. I don't think the RBR is any good this week. Yeah, I'm not gonna say no to forces. I don't mind teaching you some stuff as we go through, as I said before. Maybe you'll teach me stuff. You'll do something where I didn't think of it before. We've had people that are like, don't main force, but then they did, for example, they actually Gafoi stacked on falls, and I was like, why did I never try that? Like, that actually works. And it's very funny. Like, wait a minute. Like, yeah, when the boss is up in the air and it's gonna shoot the double death laser thing at you, like, oh yeah, you can just kind of Gafoi the boss. That's funny. There's like weird ways you could get like extra damage on that boss fight. But we'll see if I have to do it on impromptu. As I said before, I just run 3 seals on most of my forces and Glide Divine, so I don't need to worry about it. I brought in Clever Laconium to try to be more optimal versus the boss, but yeah, we're switching to Glide Divine here. We'll showcase our resistances. So like I'm sitting on like 33 and everything due to 3 seals, and then we put on Glide Divine and suddenly we're at 48. So being at about 48 resistance is good enough, honestly. Because I don't even think this character is using many HP materials, if any. I think this sweet spot is like 1350 HP to survive. And if you just want more, you either wear another Heavenly HP or another Resist. Which Heavenly Resists are not super hard to come across. So we'll do a couple more of these, and then maybe we'll do some VLs for the people that wanted to join in. So we do have a 4-man squad. I feel very motivated to play when there are 4 people. When it's 2 people, I'm like, I'll do a couple things if it's just me and one other person, but I don't have that same level of motivation. Okay, so my goal here is to basically shut down the lilies. The resistances aren't, unfortunately, as good as they are in single player, but honestly just a combination of Rifoes and Razans will shut down this entire room. He casts like 1 Gafoi while I'm waiting here, otherwise it just kind of stun locking the room is fine. So I'm going to showcase how broken Rifoi is on this quest. Look at where these enemies are, watch this nonsense. Oh, lilies. Oh, you can't do anything. Oh, what happened? Oh, what happened? Did I shut down the whole room? Oh, what a shame. Yeah, you don't need EDK for this quest. Just like, you're like, no. they're your playthings as the Force. You don't have to respect any of the waves here. Or the room. Oh, you know what? It's okay. We got the bad room, but time to showcase something stupid. The witness this whole room, right? Witness this room. Oops. Stun lock the whole room. I don't have Cure Paralysis on, but you can if you wanted to for this room. And basically, if you want to assist as a ranger, Rifoi, for some reason, I think has a target limit, so you can't hit the back most people. I don't think it's a range issue. I think it's actually the target limit that's being tripped there. Anyway, let's do a reset. Yeah, the 54 to resistance, you're good. You will definitely survive anything Falls does. But I do recommend, you will still die to the spinners if you don't Gafoi. So your goal with the Force is to kind of like stack 2 Gafois after debuff the boss, 2 Gafois, move a little bit depending on where the boss is, in case the boss stays still. Because if the boss stays still, you can keep your fireballs closer to where the other players are and kill their spinners too. So you could literally just do that the whole time, and you could just make the boss run free for them. Because suddenly they only need to have like 1,000 to like 1,200 HP total to survive the elements. And they're not worrying about surviving like 800 from spinner damage. Or like if they get clipped by a fireball into that, they're no longer worrying about that. So that's been my new strat, and that's why this character is set up this way, on the off chance that we go to Falls. Yeah, unfortunately, in single player, you'd actually just Razan the lilies, but in multiplayer, they're resistant. I'll still do the Razan tier every now and then, just because it'll stun lock the whole room. Like, just a showcase to this, like, I'm literally stopping them from moving from spawn by Razanding, which is incredibly unfair. I would just like to state. Or I'll pick up a red sword. So again, my ability to Refoi this room basically enables the rest of the players to get into position, and they don't need to worry about any of these enemies. Now, if they happen to kill the thing that I'm targeting, that's on the players. I can't help you if you do that. That's your fault. So, like, you could just ignore it. That would be my advice to the other players. If you see me Refoing something, don't kill it. Otherwise, you might die. But that's not my fault. Because otherwise Refoi hits the whole room, which is very silly. Oh, we got a good run. Speaking of Refoi, yeah, if I had a Cycle... I mean, like, I could have grabbed the Cycle 1 if I really wanted to, but if you have, like, a Fire Scepter Agni, this kind of room is also... You could just solo it with Refoi. Every single enemy gets hit by your Refoi here. You actually do an insane amount of damage to speed up the run. So if you're looking to optimize, this would be a room I would switch to Fire Scepter. And even the room beyond, I would also Fire Scepter. Because you'll see, like, as we come into here, there's all, there's lilies on the left, lilies on the right, and then there's just a big target for you to Refoi and stun lock the whole room. So you can see, like, as a force, there's just, like, if you know those little secrets, like, just to witness somebody doing it, you're like, oh yeah, they are close enough that that works. It's so good. I'll do Rabarda here on the off chance I freeze a pan arm. But technically, you could also Razan there. I don't think it really matters. 50 has found Cycle Wand. Nice. Ooh, a Delbeater one. Ooh. I guess that's from RBR, because I think it's seabed today. So here's an example where I'm not going to do as much here. I definitely recommend for, like, newer players. You're unfortunately going to learn the hard way that ATP is king, and there's not very much you could do if you don't have melee weapons here. However, in this quest specifically, you can help out a lot by just casting Razand and then debuffing where you can. Oh, we got the other path. I was hoping we would get the right door so I could show you a way to manipulate the AI, but that's fine. This room, I'm mostly just debuffing and or Razanding. I'm gonna do my little pause trick so I don't target anything here. I'm gonna get close. There's the lore in here. Again, I gotta be careful because there's Chaos Springers here, but remember, Chaos Springers have a delayed spawn. So, like, if I debuff immediately, I'm actually not gonna debuff them. So I'm gonna wait, debuff. And I know the next wave is very Razandable. Don't really have too much to worry about here. So if I have 3 seals on, good enough. Again, 3 seals I think most forces should be able to get. For those not aware, maybe you're hearing this on YouTube first time. It's a 1k gamble item, so you just need Besetta to try to gamble for it. It's not too bad. Yeah, like, this quest is, like, it's still doable for you to tech, but in single player, it's actually really fun. So if you think you like the quest at all, it is actually really, really, really fun to do as a force. I feel both the Mines route and the Ruins route are completely soloable as force. I got knocked down, that really sucks. I don't want that to happen. I'm gonna Rebarda here to slow them down a bit. I'm not looking for damage, I'm just looking for crowd control. So we gotta kind of compensate if we don't feel there's enough other buffs there. Yeah, sadly I don't think any of the VLs have access to Excal, or we do it for Dango. But you bet, Dango, when it comes to Anniversary Event, if it is not terribly nerfed, we will be doing a lot of Excal for you. We will get you that Excal, Dango. Again, another room where Razan just kind of deals with problem enemies. Like, balls are annoying for people to kill. He's gonna kill them here. Okay, so this is where we need to make sure that casts are going to be on point when it comes to dealing with this next room. So my recommendation, as I said before, somebody will always deviate slightly right to put more freeze traps down, and then somebody goes left and kind of covers it in. The reason why we need to do like kind of spread is because the enemies spawn in here really slow, which is really, really annoying. Like, see how there's like a big delay before they're targetable? Our best bet here is to just debuff what we can and hope our team has DPS. I'm gonna just freeze them repeatedly because I believe the team will either kill them or freeze trap here. There we go, good assumption. Yeah, Dango has yet to find it. So we're gonna move over here. There's actually a magic position where the enemy will not come charge at you, but even if they do, my Rebarda actually stopped them there. So if you're playing the Force, where I'm standing is like basically perfect. Because you saw that Darkbringer try to hit the party, but because I'm already freeze looping the other one, it can't really do anything. So in single player, Rebarda actually damages them. In multiplayer, I just use it for crowd control. Oh, we're fighting falls? Okay. Sure. Sure, I guess. Well, I guess I'd show off some fall strategies, I suppose. It's fine. We'll join in. I love to live dangerously and only buff when I'm in the falls room. I'm gonna stand still and regen TP. This is my other little tech tip. If you're player 1, you're never reaching it first unless something horribly goes wrong. I'd rather get my TP back there. So I don't have any invincibility, so I'm going to take this opportunity to Gafoi here, and I'm going to look for an opening on my right side here, so I'm going to Gafoi again. So the goal with the Force is look for a new space every time you Gafoi. If literally nothing is near you, Gafoi again. So I'm going to move because that guy's too close. But like, as long as you just do little pause tricks here and there, it's actually not too bad to not get hit, even with like the world's slowest attacks. It just might require you to move more than you're expecting. That's all. See, I'm not doing anything too special, but I'm really reducing how much I'm getting hit. I'm basically calling out all the hunters and casts that get hit. I'm casting Gafoi, which has like the world's slowest animation. I'm like, listen, if I can dodge it, you could dodge it. I believe in you. There's a big open space over here, so I'm going to be spamming. And even if I end up out of position here, because I'm using Glide Divine, it doesn't matter. So I'm just literally just going to debuff the boss by mashing Zalor. I'm mashing it right now. Debuff the boss. Doesn't matter where the boss is. Again, I'm going to just be spamming Gafois here to make sure that they don't get hit. Technically, I could use Razan to do extra damage there. The boss takes some damage from fire. They take more from lightning on that phase. Speaking of the strategy, I'm going to go ahead and debuff the boss. I'm going to go ahead and heal once, so I'm at full. I'm going to stack 2 Gafois. So I now know I can't die, so I'm going to move towards the boss. Yeah, look how little that did. What was that, 800 damage? I don't care. Right, Tyler, like, I don't care. So, like, the difference of you having the Glide Divine 3 seals, I hope you saw it, Lemaine. It's like, the boss doesn't do any damage to you anymore. It's like, goodbye. So, trust me when I say, you could be a low-level force. As soon as you have 3 seals Glide Divine, you are all set for life. I'm gonna go ahead and debuff the boss here, and then use some Foe. If the boss knocks me down, I'll switch. Did. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Clever Laconium, since that gives me extra Foe damage. And that was a fast clear, chat. Now, if the boss had not died there, I would have gone to the edge of the arena and cast Gafoi. I got to cast Gafoi for the defenders that respawn after his Rebardas. No worries. But yeah, like, you can see, like, it's like night and day. When you have 3 Seals Glide Divine, you just don't care. Like, the only time you'll die is if you're, like, literally as far away from the boss as possible, and you get double hit by this by the blast. That's the only time you could die, is if you are legit opposite end of the arena, get multi-hit. But it's like so fast and so quick. Yeah, Glide Divine is the savior there. And I'm running like a pretty whack setup. Like I'm using Mother Garb, like in Heavenly Arms. Smart Link, like it just doesn't matter. I'm not even using ATP. Technically, I could use my X-Cal on the Sorcerers. If you feel like you're down to DPS, it's important to have, but it's not like mandatory. Funny enough, I did think it was more useful, even in single player, as like a faux new world, to just demon mech the Sorcerers rather than actually spellcast them. We'll do one more of those, then we'll do some VLs. That way we could say we at least had like, what, 3 red ring attempts? Not bad. Kind of hoping for a bonus room or the other paths, but not bad overall. And the music just cuts so awkwardly. So, I mean, like, from my armor, you can literally tell my only resistances are coming from 3 Seals and Glide Divine. So, you know, obviously if you're running something like a Ignition Cloak or a Congeal Cloak, you're going to take even less damage than I do. Because my armor adds literally 0 to resistances. So that's why when you were saying your numbers earlier, I know you're not using a Mother Garb, and you're probably using one of the cloaks, just from the standpoint that you had resistances. Because I'm running bare minimum. Although, funny enough, this setup means that the Fall's Grants will never knock me down. Just sometimes relevant, but it is what it is. Yeah, I love this quest so much. Honestly, I just like the pacing of the enemies. I like that the forces can actually do stuff. I like that casts are rewarded extremely heavily for playing. Oh, you do use a Mother Garb Plus? Oh, okay. Where are we getting the other resist from then? So I'm only at a 48 with what I hold. You might have a resist unit on or something. Which again, you can definitely do as like a faux moral. She caps on units, so you can do whatever you want with her. It's like a Wild West of units. Honestly, if you're just looking for the little bit of revivability, that'll work. Oh, Adept makes sense. That makes sense too. Yeah, look at this Rifoe lockdown. This is gross. They can't do anything. So unfair. Nope. I almost killed them via damage. That's kind of sad. Yeah, Adept adds a nice amount. I don't use it on this character. So again, just like, if you saw, like, think about it this way. I literally have, oh, we got Runes Rat again. How convenient. Now it's a serious run. Hold on, I gotta pay attention. Just kidding, I'm just refoing. Look at the damage we're doing to this room. Look at this, disgusting. So just imagine, yeah, look at that. I managed to get a kill in a 3-player game with this many casts. It shows you how good the force is of this quest. Just like, wow, the damage is real. You get a damage is real. It's stun locked forever. So good. And our goal here is to debuff the Pan Arms and hope the Confused Trap hits them at some point. Debuff the team there. I'll pick up a Tri-Fluid. But yeah, so like I'm running pretty like minimal gear if you want to think of it from that standpoint. Like V801 is good, V101 is good, but I'm not really attacking, so I might as well just have 3 empty units. Do you know what I mean? Like the only thing that impacts my spellcasting there is V801. Otherwise, like in terms of gear, you really don't need that much to be a successful force here. Mostly just Glide Divine, 3 Seals. If you're participating in damage, it would help to have something that buffs Rifoe. So for example, you might have, like, in caves, you have a Rifoe merge. Damn, we got North Path again. So you might have like Refoe merge as you do cave, since it's so good there. Or if you're playing single player, 3 seals is also still extremely good, because remember, in single player, they take lightning damage versus ice damage. So you genuinely have, like, you could just wear 3 seals the entire time if you wanted to in single player. Multiplayer, I would probably recommend, you know, you equip your Fire Scepters or your Cycle Wands or whatever buffs for Foe that you happen to have. You know, Fire Scepters aren't exactly hard to get either. I mean, you can play very hard mode, Pink ID. I'll be like, that's not really a luxury item. Ignition Cloak is, you know, it's up there, but you don't need it for this run. My armor is completely optional. So just be aware that it's like, there's all these little things you could be doing. It's more about like making sure you stack your techniques in a good way. We're gonna come to the opposite end of the room. It's important to do this because you give more targets to the Belros. To see how like 2 of them are facing me, that's 2 less that's fighting the team, so they just have free. So you'll see me manip the Indie Belros on purpose on the other room route. Sadly, I don't think we're gonna get it before we end tonight, but just be aware that you can like really hard manip the Indie Belros. So what you could do as like a new player is, if you know where they're gonna spawn, you could purposely stand really close to them so that they will try to rotate towards you very slowly to face you. And that means that is like 5 to 6 seconds where they're not attacking and you're not lined up with any other player. Really crucial. Here's the same route I was doing before, but this time I just did it with Rabarda. So it's important to freeze the Bull Claws. So if you do have something that buffs ice damage, you could in theory bring it out here. In single player, because the Chaos Bringers take ice damage, it's highly recommended at minimum you bring an Ice Scepter, but I would bring a... When we get into that final room, I would really highly recommend you have a Rabarda merge. I'm playing somewhat lazy with this character. I only have 3 seals on him, but those are ways you could just optimize it. I'm just showcasing you don't need to optimize. You could still do extremely well. Again, my goal here is to just go left. Not looking to pull anything crazy. We're gonna pause trick what we can. Around the corner. Debuff what we can. Debuff what we can. Just make sure they don't do anything. Freeze the Darkbringer in place for a little bit. There we go. We're gonna find our little magic spot, which I think was roughly here. I don't have like an exact science to this yet. It's like right about here. Yeah, there we go. See, I stopped the Darkbringer again. Unfortunately, a player lined up with me and got me hit by the Bringer. Or, not the Bringer, the Indie Belro. I could blame the other players on that one. I literally wasn't moving. Somebody just got me hit. But we're able to control that Bringer, so that way, even if we don't have like a Frozen Shooter locked on him, we can just shut him down hardcore. Okay, we're gonna get falls 3 times in a row. Wow, we really got falls 3 times in a row, huh? Okay. Well, there you go. No bonus room. That's fine. I was gonna teach you how to do the bonus room, but apparently it's just oops all falls today. And as I said before, I love to live dangerously. I don't buff before the rooms. Oh, did Dango say last one for me? Okay. I didn't 1v 101 anyways game. Yeah, it's a little sad. Oh, we'll do a couple of VLs after this. Thank you again, Dango, for joining us. Hopefully you'll get rewarded with a red ring here, but we'll see. Again, one Gafoe here is always pretty safe. I like to dip right. That's usually where opening is. The worst that happens is you kind of just go in between them. It can be a little scary when you see players coming towards you because they might bring spinners with them. So I would recommend definitely, if you are playing as other players, do not walk towards the Force. Force is like, oh my gosh, they're in panic mode whenever they see a player coming by. And you gotta kind of look at the minimap again. So you can see, without even looking at the minimap, I'm mostly able to avoid damage. Like, sometimes I'll get clipped if I'm unlucky like that, but it is what it is. I got bullied into a bad spot. I think I should be good now, though. Yeah, I had to go a bit further south than I would have wanted. So that, if you're wondering where you end up getting hit the most as a Force, is if you see players crisscross you, because essentially the spinners have like a couple of default behaviors. One is like they're in like a hunt mode, so like they'll pick a player and go towards them, and another is they remain static. The third of which being they pick a random direction to move. The problem is if they change behavior while they're hunting another player, because other players are potentially walking towards you, it brings them towards you as well. So there's a lot more for you to have to dodge. Where if you're by yourself, it's actually not hard to dodge. Yeah, look at that. I took 400 damage. Rip Dango. So you can see here, I had enough time to go revive Dango. It just doesn't matter. Basically a full HP. What could this boss do? Nothing. Whatever. Nice try though. No worries, Lemon. It'll be something you could always look back to later if you want. Yeah, again, the scariest thing I could see as a force is if everyone goes towards me while I'm Gifoing. I'm trying not to move towards you. Like, holy, when I see other players come towards me, the fear is real. Oh yeah, let's use some regular foe here. You gonna knock me down? Oh, you're actually not. And then I'll switch to Club Electronium for more damage. Ooh, easy fast kill. That's what you want to see, chat. Nice and easy breezy. Goodbye, Falls. See any red rings for Dango on the way out? Dango got a Swordsman Lore and Heavenly Arms today. Dango did actually get some good goods today. Was in the previous video. Still the same session though. I'm pointing. I'm like, that's Dango's red ring. Give it to him. Get out of here, boxes. It's gonna foe these boxes. If I have Zond, it's a little better, but it's fine. Alright, so Tekkium, you wanted to do some VL. I'm up for like one of each. Any preferences, Tekkium, on the ID? Honestly, blue ID's been paying off so far, but purple ID's not bad. Double check if there's any fun guns in there. Sadly, there's not. Sadly, no bonus material to collect from. I think her name is Sue. Okay, so for VL, we were talking about before, purple, yellow, and blue are extremely good. White has general value if it's not rare enemy weak. Green is quote-unquote playable there. Guess we'll just do more blue ID, honestly. It's been pretty good to us so far. Who knows, maybe we'll get another Heaven Striker with hit for no reason. I get to slowly unlock my Adept. I don't know if I'll finish my Adept before the end of the year. I haven't been doing a lot of CCC unlocks. Just a couple during, like, downtimes. How much hit on the drop table today? Or the drop today? Min hit, sadly, on the Heaven Striker. But it rolled with, once we teched it, it rolled to 30 Dark. The 15 hit 30 Dark, I'm kind of like, okay. I'm actually okay with that. It's a good false weapon for me. I don't need it to be, like, super endgame. It's like, it's pretty much all Ramar needs. So I'm like, it's fine. Gotta see, I'm hearing a bajillion Lubu themes. Though I think this one is technically Arena. I still think that this is Lubu theme though. Yeah, Aurea Field for Retract, 15 hit Heaven Striker, Essler for Dango. Yeah, it's been a good session. Then I think somebody was getting a lot of PDs. I think it might have been in Parameter. Parameter got like 5 PDs, I think. Even for them, they still got some value. Because it was the Ocean Lee was getting legit legit like a PD every run. So even with like an hour and a half, they ended up with 4 or 5 at the end. I've only gotten 1 PD so far, but Heaven Striker worth it, so no complaints. If I don't see one before the end of the night, fine. So we have a free slot open if anybody wants to join. I'll very briefly check to see. You know what? I'll set past the blank. If any people want to join, they can join. I'm gonna check the weapon store briefly, and if by the time I come back from weapon store nobody's there, we'll continue. Yeah, I finally started, we're gonna start leveling the Lame to Argent that's in our inventory. That'll be fun. Nope. Worth a shot. Yeah, this quest is on the easier end, so I don't feel like you need a lot of gear. TL2 is definitely, if you don't have a cast, you're in for a bad time, but this one's fine. It's just like lilies, rappies, no one cares about those. Okay, guess it's just us today. Go to VR, we'll do Virtual Limits 1 for Tekkium. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking maybe going forward, if they want to update the other quests to have that warp there, go back to the shop. No complaints there from me. Yeah, the big thing to get used to is not everybody has to touch the console. It was like, that for me was like the jump scare. I was like, wait a minute, we just go right into the quest? I'm not used to that. Where's us getting stuck in place for like 3 minutes? Yeah, free boxes as we go through. I might as well check them. Yeah, Blue ID has the chance of Jaya, so it is worth checking here. Sadly, it's Caves 1 boxes, so there's not a lot of IDs that get anything good there. I forgot to bring a spare weapon, but I can technically put down my weapon for the other challenge room box. Should have picked up the rare from the other room. Oh, Retract put a weapon down. Thank you, Retract. Yeah, so interestingly, they put a challenge room switch in here. If you don't have a weapon, you can't open up where the Indie Bell Roads are currently. Come on, Heaven Strikers for the team. Let's go. I will say, you know, EN4 I think is still good for Heaven Striker, but I'd kind of rather play this quest for Heaven Striker Episode 1. The fact that it also randomly could just get Heaven Punisher is very funny to me. Like, statistically, you should get it eventually, versus like it can't happen because it's not in the quest kind of thing. I got bodied. Oh, nice, I froze him. Yeah, Book of Hitagata, Heaven Punisher, Jaya from boxes, Heaven Striker. I think Guardiana was also a drop. Got a pretty decent amount of items, honestly, for Blue ID. So it's nice to be able to say that there's, like, more variety. It's not just all of White ID. Funny enough, I think White ID is pretty bad in most of the quests that came out. I don't think they'll do this quest over their traditional White ID quests, for example. It's still good, but like the VL2 in particular is terrible for them. That might be one of the worst quests I've ever seen. Like, I thought White ID Mines was bad. Holy, VL2 for White ID? Like a whole new level of terrible. Like, your drops are handgun gold. Literal end of list, that's all they get. Kind of painful. Nice photon drop. Rewarded for the extra gameplay today. I've been bodied. Get out of here. A successful day overall, not too bad. This quest so far, I definitely feel like as a force, there's not as much that I can do. I think soloing, it's okay. I could see myself doing solo force here, where like HP is half, resistance is slightly lower. You can still do some damage in this quest, but like not as much as like solo. And that's kind of the balance with episode 1, where they definitely want you to group up as a force in multiplayer versus play solo. So it's like, are you normally going to kill a 3,700 HP enemy with MST? Probably not. It's definitely a Fomar/Fomoral world if they have some good weapons. I was gonna switch to Glide Divine, then I realized I didn't even have it with me. Nice, I baited them into a nice cluster. Even if I'm not doing damage, I can still be useful here. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm seeing a lot of Varanzan in equivalencies. Like I'm seeing some big damage numbers. Nice little charge arms as well. Doing a little box check here. Call that a force privilege to reson them through the walls. Just in case a Jaya drop for the group. Again, our goal is to just kind of slow up the enemy, debuff. Don't need crazy equipment for that. Again, that delay between when the indie bell respawns and is targetable is kind of gross. Enemies. Rappies is getting held from existence. Poor Rappies. Up a little. Yeah, I'm just relying on the team to do damage here. It's just a lot of Zalor spam. What's wrong with that? Ooh, I kind of interesting remix of this song. I do like the early Dynasty Warriors music. Like that 3-4 era of songs. Ouch. I've been bodied. Ooh, that's an unfortunate amount of hit that it rolled with. Or you got DB Saber trolled. Damn, if that was a Heaven Striker, oh. Would have been like, time to make some money. enemies. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm still kind of learning this quest, so I don't want to give, like, instructions on this one in particular. Like, if we're doing episode 4, TTF, or RT, I could talk for days, literally explain every single nuance of my positioning. Right now, I'm more just kind of like, without Glide Divine, I gotta get pretty deep in the room. So I'm definitely feeling the lack of Glide Divine on this character. Because otherwise, like, this kind of thing would be easy to debuff without me moving. That's more what I'm thinking about right now. As I said before, my damage is okay, but you know, I'm not gonna be able to compete with like endgame Ranger, nor should I attempt to. It's more important if I see boxes like on the other side there that I pop them with Razan to save the team some time. So I could do some box checks that they wouldn't be able to do in an efficient manner by just extending out a Razan or two. So by just making sure I Razan near boxes, like here for example, I could strike the enemies in the room and also open the boxes. It's kind of those not unappreciated, it's kind of like those sometimes not noticed time saves where they no longer have to turn and shoot. I could just do damage to the room and also do stuff, or how there's like boxes over there and I could Razan through there without needing to enter there. I could end up saving some time. It's not like a ton of time, but if you learn to just abuse techniques through walls, you could save like maybe 2-3 seconds every time you do a box check. I mean, it's to the point where they're so good at box checks in episode 1 that you just literally play Endless Nightmare for Refoe chests that are in completely different rooms. That saves like, what, 12 seconds plus of not needing to walk there? Oh, it really just depends on the room, how much time you can save. Because the big downside is, like, they can't target it if there's something in the way. Or there might be a big gap or a wall in between where they want to go. The actual results. So bullets might not be allowed to actually physically travel to the destination, even if it's close. Cornball Fist. Yeah, this quest is definitely meant to be played with a couple people. Haven't even started the food yet? What happened, Lomain? Are you still doing prep work for it? Or... I was gonna say, it's been like a good, at least 30 minutes. And usually I'm kind of like... If I pull out the vegetables, depending on how many there are, I will sometimes start them then, but usually what I end up doing is, so like, if I'm making a chicken meal, once I'm done seasoning and cutting up chicken, while it is being pan-fried, I will chop up the veggies. Still getting everything ready. Ooh. Chicken queso, nice. Yeah, and then usually in the same pan, I'll cook the veggies afterwards, so I'll let the chicken sit for a little bit. And depending on what pasta it's going with, or like if I'm having a side, I might be boiling the water by the time I start the chicken. Because I want to make sure I don't boil too early. I've done that mistake before, where I do that before putting the chicken in, or waiting for the pan to heat for the chicken. And then it causes the pasta to sit there for like a couple minutes. Not ideal. But the timing of the boiling water really depends, but I want to make sure it's definitely boiling by the time I'm more or less done with the chicken. So sorry. Yeah, the idea being that if pasta's going to take 11 minutes, if I'm basically browning onions, that takes like 8-10 minutes. So depending on where it is, I want to make sure it lines up with the onions being finished. And then again, if I'm putting a sauce in, then it gives me another 1 or 2 minutes to let it cook in the sauce for transferring the pasta in. Depends on what I'm making, really. Hello, Magblast. Minutes, not bad. My singular PD away. Oops, what am I doing? Taking the warp. Here, buy some tri-fluids, warp back. To VL2, and I think that'll be the last quest that we run. Yeah, Sky ID and Pink ID are both very strong for VL2. Guess we could do Sky ID to give me more XP on my Sky casts. Or not Sky casts, Sky Human. 50 hit Hard Falcon, so close. Ooh, sorry. We'll play. I think they're in the share bet. Yeah, I think in this quest in particular, ATP is like super recommended. Like the other quests, you could kind of get away with being like a technique caster. The problem is just like Ruins enemies are very tanky. Anti-Belro is kind of tanky. Crimson Assassins you could take down without too much of an issue. But we'll play a little more of the Skyfo Newman. But this one is more like there's a lot of Baranzas. So my goal is to either just be constantly spamming Rabarda for free freeze, or Resanding, and not really caring about my damage. Password list. Love the triple heavenly HP on this character. Truly didn't want to die, chat. You don't understand. He's got a Glide Divine on, so I should be good. Yeah, look at his resistances. He's got 66 fire resistance with just Ignition Cloak plus Glide Divine. Absolutely disgusting. He's never dying. Speaking of which, I need to make sure to add the Chronoside Trials 3 and 4 to the list. I think I forgot to do that. Let me put a little placeholder so I don't forget to later. There, that way I have not technically missed any quests in my quest list. Or our Google Doc. Now this is kind of mean because it splits up our players between two different rooms. So if the cast is alone, I'll buff them. It's like the cast is alone here. I'm gonna go ahead and take a telepipe to just help them, or else they're gonna be suffering. I think that's the only strat I picked up on so far, is that it is better for a force to just do this. Then I just go back when I'm ready. So far, that's my only recommended tech tip, especially if you're not playing with a 4-man squad. Because them having a buff is like night and day difference in how they're gonna clear. Like they go from doing barely 400 to like 800 plus. They got a lot of raw stats. Somebody found a red ring? Nice. Did they put a trap in that room? Just rude. Actually rude. I wish Meek had worked better here. Dude, they have 85 EDK. That's like, man, they're not using the episode 2 resists on those enemies. It's so sad. Yeah, like 85 to kill that guy. That's not as hellable as you would want it to be, which is a shame. Retract. I think we could actually kill them there, I'm not sure. tell that Saber to sit down. I do think Rabarda and Razond are extremely useful as crowd control. Even if you don't have a lot of damage, Rabarda will stop the Saber from walking, and on the off chance it does freeze, like if you're playing with like low casts or like low level casts that can't trap every room, I can't understate how good it is to freeze those targets for your ATP characters. Like there, I automatically just started hitting him, stun locking him. So if I specialized Ice here, if I was doing like Congeal, Cloak, Rabarda, Merge, probably be doing pretty well here, to be honest. The only downside are these sorcerers. Those are the ones that could be really scary when uncontrolled. Like, you could let them grant you once, but man oh man, if they are not dead after that, you're in big trouble. I'm gonna check a side room here for items. Oh, I already hit it with Razond, never mind. I almost saved myself time there. I mean, technically still faster than opening it with melee attacks, but I didn't even need to go over there at all. Yeah, Razond we want to use to try to stunlock the Orans, which we know will spawn here. They're quite terrible. Otherwise, we just gotta believe in the Rifoi, since sadly their EDK is pretty high. The odds of me getting them are not that great. Look at that instant freeze I got on them. That was gross. Yeah, that saves the team a ton of time when they're frozen like that. Missiles almost hit me. Yeah, I can see the switches above the red door. As long as I'm over here-ish. There we go. It should die. Oh, I actually think I got a kill there. So we're gonna hit them with the Rabarda. Team will kill. Got a freeze trap. Perfect. I might as well just go the long way. I might as well box check with Sky ID. Like there, I think I opened the other box. Calibers drop, but nothing with high hit percentage. It's a shame it's only mines 1. As I said before, like, I wish they were at least like mines 2 or mines 3. Just to kind of fix the pattern. Hold on drop, nice. Oh, I got the Rabarda freeze, let's go. See that? We're being helpful. I was gonna say, could you imagine if one of us got Cycle 1 from this kind of run? How nonsense that would be. If you Laser says no. There's some of the Pan Arms who has a Heart of item. You could freeze him here. I did. GG. Oh. That was brutal from the team. Oh, and I don't think I've ever hit this laser gate. Oh, nice level up. I'm gonna need a lot of those for episode 4. I'll take whatever I can now, because it's gonna make Anniversary easier. Yeah, this is another quest where I think I would do okay single player. Because, like, Barans are more killable in single player, but man oh man in multiplayer are they, like, unkillable for Force. There's not really, like, an easy go-to item to deal with multiple Barans. Or, Force. You don't have, like, a shotgun. You don't have, like, full-screen death touch on all these Barans. Like, when you see this kind of combo, you can lure them towards you, I guess, but the difference of them having like 3k health versus like 2000 is kind of huge. Your ability to basically spam Razond or something to kill them is more likely for you to do that before they unleash the missile barrage. Nice, I got the random freeze. That's all you want. Believe in the RNG and the freeze. Help the team. We're like a quasi-cast right now. Poor Golgus. See any fun items in here? We'll get Barans though. How rude. Hey, can you not hit me? Wait a minute. Wait, he can't hit me? Wait, hold on. Oh! Did we just learn something in PSO today? He couldn't hit me from there. Okay. I mean, that's almost a clip that moment. Wait a minute. Barans has that big of a no-hit zone? I thought they could hit you when you were that close. Is that something about episode 2, Jack? I just want you to know, the Barans fired 3 sets of missiles, not a single one of them hit me, and they were definitely targeting me. That was very interesting. See that, chat? We're learning all the time. So I guess I could have just soloed that Barans, because it didn't hit me, and I wasn't invincible either. It's very interesting. The more you know, chat. Like, I know missiles have a minimum distance to go, but I wonder why they were, like, detonating early. Oh, we got Bravis, but not the... That item needs to get removed from the game. Delete that from, box drops, please. Speaking of items that just don't belong. What are these? Nice! Wow, so today we got 2 swordsman lore for the group. That's pretty huge. I was gonna say, Retract is like, man, I'm happy I said something in the Discord. I'm now profiting today. There's an oh no. Now you have to unseal again. True. Ouch, I got bodied. Need some dye fluids. You see that sneaky missiling? Like, can he seriously not hit me if I'm standing here? Now he can. Well, now he can because it's a slope. Okay, if it wasn't a slope, I'm not convinced he could actually hit me there. Not in episode 2. If I do this, can he hit me? No. The other one can hit me, but he can't hit me. That's very interesting. Is that specific to episode 2, or does it work like that in episode 1 as well? Like, I know there is, like... If you put your back to a wall, right, the missiles have to kind of hook over you and then sweep in and they hit your feet. And they can hit the wall above you. But, like, if you put your back to a wall, you can dodge missiles that way, ironically. You would think that wouldn't help you, but it is very useful to do in episode 1. But I didn't realize episode 2 missiles, or at least their behavior, if I'm, like, point blank, they can't hit you. Which is not a thing, I think, in episode 1. That's very interesting. Almost wish I could just get like a solo Barans and watch it try to hit me. Unless like some of its missiles were trying to hit another player and they got confused. I'm not sure. I definitely want to review whatever happened earlier. Because the missiles should just knock me down if I get hit. Oh, he wasn't fighting me. Fortunate. Hit by enemies. Yeah, like I'm not convinced he can hit me while I'm here either. Although I shocked him, so he can't hit me in general. Yeah, I'm not convinced he can hit me while I'm standing here. Rip Retract. So I wouldn't have thought there would have been more quests to get swordsman lore. Because they did add more quote-unquote swordsman lore quests earlier when they changed, I think it was Yellow ID to get it in episode 4. So we did get like a couple of like spare swordsman lore doing Yellow ID runs. Kind of funny to actually get it back in episode 1 on a quest where we're technically in spaceship. Very interesting. Goodbye, enemies. Stupid pan arms. Hop up with the parish, please. Do us a favor and die. Yeah, I got the freeze on him. Oh, chat got the refreeze on him. Brutal. Yeah, I like the creative walls and the works they have here. All I know is eventually I'm going to be fighting a horrendous wave of sorcerers and Barans, and I'm going to be teleporting between rooms. See, that time it knocked me down. I wonder what was going on in that other room. Yeah, they were going a little ham there. Fortunately, we could just use the warp to dodge them. That's the other thing. I think I'll be abusing with it, our friends here. So we might just flip-flop and just collectively deal with them. Yeah, this quest ender is pretty rough. That's why I'm contemplating putting this as a difficulty 4. This final room by itself is actually really hard to do without having a solid team. I can't imagine people in like the 140s dealing with this. The final room of like basically, it's gonna eventually be like 6 Brands, 6 Sorcerers, and a couple Bell Sabers. When it gets to that, that's just an evil spawn, honestly. Goodbye, dub switches. Nice, I got a freeze. I'm happy. I leveled up a force I don't normally use often. Oh, photon drop, nice. A nice way to end the stream. I ended up with 2 out of 3 photon drops, but we got a Heaven Striker with percentage. I can live with that. Yeah, we'll be using those warps to choose the missiles from the Barans. I don't think they'll go through the walls here if they're chasing us. So I'm gonna hover. I'm literally just gonna sit on the warp if they want to mess with me. That's up to them. Otherwise, at least our Razan does okay damage here when I'm not running out of TP. Nice freeze from the team there. I like that I can't see the spell graphic because of the weird transparency effect they have. Yeah, I'm just gonna hover every single warp every single time. How did that not hit? Please. Thinking of evil waves. Good luck, team. Fortunately, we're all grouped together right now, so we're not dealing with a bunch of them all at once. Well, I got the freeze on them? Get out of here. Get outplayed. Just believe in the RNG, chat. It's fine. Yeah, I guess it was worth the extra quests. We got a Swordsman lore and a PD. Oh, I heard that mag blast. I managed to dodge it though. How many power materials do I have? 85. Yeah, just so you're aware, I sold some materials a while back, so that means between just putting away what was passively sitting on my characters, I've added about 49 power materials to the bank today. That's something. I picked up a good, like, 8 or so today, don't get me wrong, but I had a lot that was just kind of stuck on my other characters. Yeah, I'm happy this character got some XP. I think with another 10 or so levels, he'll be actually pretty strong in the quest. Because you can kill the Golguses consistently, and his ice damage is okay versus Delsaver. But having another 120 MST, even just doing like 30 damage a spell, or 25 damage extra a spell, kind of huge. But anyway, that's all for now. We'll pick up our payment and leave. Yeah, I went money positive. That's all you could really hope for as a low-level force. Yeah, overall, I think we talked about every topic I wanted to discuss. Got to listen to a little more of Dynasty Warriors All-Stars, which we have a lot more songs to go through. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the music here. But I think overall VL will try, I guess, a bit more. Hopefully it gets entered into the RBR rotation. I am really liking the Viridian resets for Red Ring or the bonus room a lot. I think that's going to be my new version of TTF. So expect to see that a lot more. I'm not going to say TTF is going away forever. There's obviously going to be days where we do it, but I would definitely prefer to do that quest with larger numbers. Mostly because, one, we could get more item drops in general. Two, it's a bit less tedious than just doing TTF. And then three, I like how the quest rewards you in a different way than TTF. Like, TTF rewards you for, like, knowing which min enemies you need to kill in some positions. But this one is, like, so strong in how well it rewards you. Knowing where the Chaos Bringers are with freeze traps is huge. Knowing positions for like the lilies is useful. Forces have a lot of positions where Rafoi can kind of shut down things. Casts have a lot of different ways they could shut it down, those mass number of enemies. So I like it in terms of XP, photon drops, regular rares. So I'm more likely to do that quest, for example, during like a drop rate week than TTF, just because there are just so many good drops, even on Viridian, on the way to Falls, that it would still be worth it. And if we get the bonus room over Falls, it's even better, because then we're benefiting fully from the weak bonuses. So that's like a room of V101s, Swordsman lore, Ubers. So it's like technically still an LNK chance. So expect those more in the future. But I think overall, I'll recommend the VLs. I don't know if I'll put them in like the top list of top categories, but I would say they're fun, and I think some of them could end up actually being viable. Because, you know, we're with an inexperienced group, because we're, you know, again, we just started playing for the most part today. We've seen our time go from like 16 minutes 30 down to like 14 minutes for VL1. If we're playing with a 4-man squad, now that we've run it a few times, I think we could easily get 13 something, like a 13XX. If we're ignoring items, I think we could probably touch like the upper end of 12 minutes based off of the enemies. So it's a pretty quick run overall. It's not like a 20-minute slog or like a 30-minute slog, which could be kind of an endurance run for some of the other quests like Twilight Sanctuary or Episode 4 boss runs with less than 4-player squads. So I think it's kind of the right pace. I like the enemies that are there. And yeah, hopefully chat enjoys it too. But for now, chat, it is time to say goodbye to YouTube once more. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you again next time. So long, YouTube.